Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Opulentia Chronicles, the Retro Planet D&D game. I am Master Wabbit, the Dungeon Master, and today's episode is brought to you by literally me and my setup. For those of you who look at the Discord, you may now unspoiler the image.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, this is my home setup that I use for recording and all that, and this is what it takes to not just be a streamer, but also, doing all the D&D stuff. So, yeah, I'm Master Wabbit. You can find me on Twitch right here at twitch.tv/MasterWabbit, youtube.com/@MasterWabbit, and the Rotting Corpse of Twitter @MasterWabbit, but I have also gotten a Blue Sky account at masterwabbit.bsky.social. So there is that.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Congratulations.
Yes, lovely echoes. Lovely echoes. All right. I need to, not close Discord. Hopefully I don't get a bunch of messages from all the other Discords I'm a part of. Last thing we need is for, just a bunch of notifications show up. So I would like everyone to introduce themselves, starting off with Kiki.
Hello.
Yep, keep going.
You can find me on TikTok as Kloolas Larspawn and on Tumblr as Kloolas Larspawn. Quick update on the TikTok. I'm doing it weekly instead of daily now. I'm going to be doing it every Friday night.
Okay. Up next on the list, it's going to be Rikkaku.
Hey, howdy, hey, folks. This is your friendly neighborhood Rikkaku the Sai-Krowe. Hope you guys are doing a wonderful evening tonight. Normally, we do this on my channel, but because I am away from my computer, I'm spending Thanksgiving with my other fellow D&D players. I'm staring at him right now, JayBrilliant. But, I love you too, buddy. Let's just say you just shot me double Rikkakus.
Yep.
Anyway, but for where we normally do this, you can find me at twitch.tv/Rikkaku the Sai-Krowe with underscores in between each word. Every other Wednesday around this time, we'll do it over there. And you find me as one of the editors and one of the artists for the Retro Planet community. I will save that honor for plugging that sort of stuff to RetroKaiju when his turn comes around.
All right, speaking of RetroKaiju.
Hey, howdy, hey, folks. Well, you can find me on quite a few places, actually. You can find me on the Rotting Corpse of Twitter at It's RetroKaiju. You can also find me on a Blue Sky as well, under its, I believe it's Retro Planet, just Retro Planet. I'm gonna have to check. I should have looked before. Yep, retroplanet.bluesky.social. You can also find me on Space Hay under its RetroKaiju. And you can also find us over on the official Retro Planet channel on YouTube. And one more thing, you can also find us here on the Discord. If you ever want to come visit us, we have a Retro Planet public server just waiting for you to come check it out. Welcome to the family. And that's it.
Okay, up next we have Stormpye.
Hello, my name is Stormpye, and you can catch me at Storm_collects, and that is on Instagram. Couldn't think of it for a second there.
I'm assuming that's it.
That's it, yeah.
All right, that is it.
I'm simple.
Yep.
Very simple.
And we have, finally, JayBrilliant.
Hello, everyone. My name is JayBrilliant. You're a hot massive stream. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm not on stream right now. You can find me, however, over at twitch.tv/JayBrilliant, and the Rotting Corpse of Twitter at JayBrilliant, and TikTok at JayBrilliant.
All right, yeah. Oh, we're going to have some fun audio issues today, aren't we? All right, there is another player, Ko. I don't believe they will be joining us today because reasons, but everything is fine as far as I know. You can see their player on my screen because I'm the Dungeon Master, and I can move their characters in and out between Token Layer, GM Layer. Tonight is going to be a very special night because y'all are going to get to peek behind the screen because I am the DM. So with that out of the way, I don't believe there's anything else other than audio. We need to do some attributions. We are using Tabletop Audio and The Pyre by Kevin MacLeod. Both of these groups graciously allow their works to be used under Creative Commons. They require attribution, and this is that attribution. And now, I hope... Wait, hang on. Do I not have this set up so that... Oh. Ooh. Interesting. I actually... Oh, wait. It goes to the Elgato. And then... Okay, it should be going through the audio, but it's also going to be... whenever I talk, the music's going to get quieter. So that's going to be interesting. All right, well, to you, it sounds fine. To the stream, it's going to sound different. To the recording, it's going to sound different. But, nevertheless, let's hop right into the Opulencia Chronicles. During the early morning hours, a shot rang out in the middle of Wardbloom. And with that, some people scrambled to the windows. Some people were wandering about. And it turns out that a group of bandits who were looking for someone who had killed Mathis. And they wanted to get their revenge on them, supposedly. As the gang all get together, Veronan, because Jay wasn't here last time, got a bit of PTSD, a bit of a reminder from his time at, where were the notes? It's not going to be shown on stream because I have it set up so it captures Firefox and not everything that's on my screen. Veronan, Fellsworn Academy. Something about that reminded you of Fellsworn Academy, that gunshot, that overwhelming presence of this bandit leader. So you bravely and heroically stayed behind while everyone else went to go fight. And now we are going to begin with you. It has been several hours. And that's okay. There we go. Let's do this one. All right. Veronan. Within your bedroom, you decided, not your bedroom, but the Sparrow's Inn room, you decided you're going to prepare spells and stuff like that. And it has been several hours since your compatriots have left the room to presumably deal with this problem.
Calm and composure. I need to find out what's going on.
All right.
Veronan's going to want to now catch up to where everyone is right now to make sure they're okay.
Okay, so at that point, you exit the Sparrow's Inn. You look about, and you happen to spot this whole gang walking over towards Otto's Emporium. Let me just double check the map real quick. In fact, let me just drag everyone here. So everyone, yes, like I said, peek behind the curtain. So, as you exit, you're here. Otto's Emporium is over here. I think actually over here was where like the battle kind of was, towards like the northwest of town. So I'm going to assume that,
Drawing on the screen, we're not seeing it.
Oh, whoops. That's because token layer.
Yeah, I was like, I don't see anything drawing on my tablet, so maybe that's why.
All right. No. It's because I keep forgetting that I have a GM screen, but if I draw on the GM screen, it will not show up for you guys in game. On stream it will, and in the recording it will, but oh yeah, gotta love it. All right. So their path would have been like from here to over here. You would have been over here. You probably would have seen something like from this direction. The map's not exact. I'm going to call it that because I am lazy. All right. We're going to delete that. Clear drawings and text. And I'm going to move everybody back to Wardbloom. As Veronan, you spot everyone that is inside there. They one by one, except for the bear. The bear stays outside. They enter Otto's Emporium. What would you like to do?
So above character, I'm kind of curious about some of the characters there, not talking in character.
Yep.
So I'm going to... Did he see the I'm not sure what she is. The red elf-like looking
Oh, let me bring
individual.
Let me bring her back. All right. So the characters you saw, you would have instantly recognized your crew. Right?
Yes.
That is totally fine. And
Okay.
Yep. So you have Yuvan. You probably would have recognized them. But then this crimson-toned character that appears female with purple hair going down towards like her shoulder blades. You don't recognize her, but you do somewhat recall that the uniform that she's wearing is kind of like the Otto's Emporium look, essentially.
Veronan recollects and someone mentioned that there was a shifty figure, and so he's kind of curious and interested to see what's going on and just see what's like this person's all about. So he's gonna make his way towards the guild, and in passing, he'll give Ursus a pat on the head.
Okay, so if you're walking by the guild, they're heading into Otto's Emporium.
Or Otto's Emporium, sorry.
Okay, all right. Just I was about to pull off the map. So,
Long day.
yep. So you head over towards Otto's Emporium. Ursus, like, as he looks inside, he's like, looks towards you, and as as you pet him, he leans into it. His eyes close and do the smile thing. And let me just make sure everything is all set up here. All right.
Baby.
You enter Otto's Emporium, and you recognize your crew. You recognize Yuvan, but as you are entering in, you notice that there is now a gray-toned, almost clay-like character wearing the Otto's Emporium uniform. And he stands there and goes, "Hi, I'm Otto." And then this character looks over to you and is like, "Oh, hi, Veronan." And Yuvan looks over, "Oh, glad of you to join us."
You doing okay there, bud?
Yeah, sorry, I just had a bit of a breakdown, kind of like nod to Toba as like a nonverbal reminder of the episode he had up at the mountain. And I look around, so what happened? You guys okay?
Well, cut a long story short, we took care of the bandits outside the town.
All right, that's good.
I'll just say for the sake of brevity, Toba explained everything that went down.
All right, so a couple minutes goes by, and Yuvan is behind the counter along with Otto as, the couple minutes go by and you explain that you stealthily took out a number of the bandits, possibly against the rules. We'll deal with that later, Baggin. And yeah, I had to double check. I was like, man, rogues are really overpowered. Oh, that's because I wasn't doing the rules properly. But that's on me as a DM, right? We'll deal with that next time. So, as Toba explains to you that their bandit leader was down to literally 1 HP. I'm saying this as a DM, literally 1 HP. And there was a note that was found on them. A note that was written in both Dwarvish and in Thieves' Cant that essentially gave the voice to two ideas. Is that, one, a person only known as the Benefactor was willing to take out your group before they became a problem. And two, it was going to be on behalf of bandits and the goblins. That was, goblins were mentioned once. And so with that, Yuvan and this other character that, as Toba, as you were explaining this, I think this would be funny. As you were explaining this, you say, like, oh yeah, we have Cynthia over here. No, Otto. As Otto, just slowly morphs into this character called Cynthia. It's like, hi, I'm Cynthia. How you doing? And then zoop, morphs back. Let me just get the correct character. Zoop, there we go. Zoop. So with that, Otto's like, yeah, I'm a changeling, if it wasn't obvious by now. But Yuvan called you all in here for a reason. Toba, are you done explaining all the things?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. All right, Yuvin.
Hum is in shock still from the revelation that Otto's a changeling, as well as just terrified after the thief basically put her at knife point.
Yeah, that would absolutely do it to you. So, at this point, Yuvin is all, well, I'm glad that we all got together, but I suppose we should talk a little bit about Anathiel now. And Otto is like, Anathiel, yeah, we probably should.
Toba tenses up.
Yep, and I'm going to make a quick roll here to see if anyone noticed. Not with a 10, they're not. Nope. Neither Otto nor Yuvin will acknowledge you tensing up. So
That's okay.
Yep.
I mean, he's not. Even if they did, he's not hiding it.
Yeah. So yeah, you're like next to one of these, one of the shelves over here, and you're like just slowly gripping the side of it, just trying to like keep yourself from drawing a sword or something.
Oh, not like that. Just the word, and it feels just
Oh yeah.
more like drawing, less drawing the sword, more like a shiver down the spine.
Alright. So, Yuvin goes, I think we also may as well just start at the beginning, right, Otto? Otto it looks at him and nods and agrees, like, yeah, we should start at least with the journal. And he points over towards an area that you, Hum, kind of recognize. That this is where, when you walked in and Yuvin was talking with Hrilva, that you kind of just like stayed over in this little corner. And Otto is pointing over towards that bookshelf. Otto goes, so there was a journal that was over there that disappeared the night that, well, the day that you have snuck in here, Hum. And Otto kind of just looks at you. And at this point, he is going to, let me just, there's, you see the features on him start to shrink a little bit as Hrilva shows up. And I'm keeping my eye on you, dear. And just slowly but surely just warps back. Yuvin looks over to Otto's like, dude, knock it off. Otto's like, what? I like free. All right, sorry. But, yeah, that journal there supposedly details the way to Anathiel. And that's what Yuvin and I were doing, like, what was it, about a year ago now? Yuvin is like, yeah, it was about a year ago. Where, we're still adventurers. We're still, back in, I'd say our youthful days, but it was only a year. Otto's like, yeah, it was us in an adventuring group. Those two, Revan, was, double checking my notes here.
Revan and Rhea.
Revan and Rhea. All right, do you as Hum say this? Or is it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, this is Kiki being
Kiki.
nosy.
All right. Yep. So Revan and Rhea, and at this point, I would like everyone to make a perception check for me.
Okay, perception.
Yep, perception.
Let's see. Survey says 13.
Okay.
10 total.
10 total. 14. All right. Baggin, Raggin. I will roll for him. I can do that. So, yep, we are also using D&D Beyond. You'll be able to see this. I can roll perception. Select status.
Will you be rolling for Corrind too?
Corrind? I don't need to because right now you do good. Veronan?
Yeah, 23.
23. Okay, yeah. So, enough of you notice that as soon as Otto says Revan, that Yuvin kind of like winces a little bit at that name. So Otto continues. We managed to, sometime or another we were playing a game of cards and man, I was rolling lucky. Yuvin says you were cheating. Otto's like, it doesn't matter, but nonetheless, we won a journal off of somebody to a place called Anathiel that was rumored to have like a lot of treasure and magical artifacts and gold and all sorts of stuff, and us as adventurers.
Yeah, I wonder how they got that.
As you say this, Otto looks at you and thinks, you do realize that Anathiel's well, maybe not so much a myth, but rather the idea behind it over the years may have gotten just blown up, right? I mean, you take a look at something like the Barbarian Empire. Like, they were really just, not the absolute greatest of all times, but, as years go on and you even, nudges Otto, it's like, this is not the time for a history lesson. I don't think we need to cover 300 centuries of stuff. Otto's like, all right, sure. But nevertheless, we wanted to check it out, see if it was legit. And, well, unfortunately, our group ran into some trouble about, when we were heading out. And Yuvin is like, I'll tell this part of the story. Don't worry, Otto. Otto is like, you sure, man? Yuvin's like, yeah, I'm sure. So Yuvin, kind of, takes the hem of his shirt, pulls it down a little bit, clears his throat. So yeah, there was a town that was, near Lizajek, and we were heading out to Tlimmer for, to head out towards way out to the west where this would be, charter a ship out there. But one of the local villages, they had a problem with a monster in a cave. So we went inside of there, because, not a big deal. Just standard adventure work for us. Well, this monster, oh goodness, he is wincing a little bit. We lost one of our own. And at that point, our adventuring spirit kind of broke. So we talked with each other, and at that point, neither of us really wanted to go out to Anathiel, and we kind of felt like at that point, adventuring was... We had a lot of close calls. But this is the first time that it really hurt us. Rhea was one of the best. But yeah, so we made a long journey back home here, and then our gang kind of just split up, really. I mean, I stuck around, Otto stuck around, Revan, she didn't. And yeah, that book's been sitting there for quite a while now. Baggin, Raggin, you kind of dozed off in the middle of all this.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So at this point, you were like,
Hum in tears. Hum is tearing up a little bit, then hears Baggin Raggin snort a bit, and then just jabs at him with her basket.
So what did I do?
You forgot to mention Rhea. Would it open a wound to assume that Rhea was the one you lost to the monster?
Yuvin's like, yeah, Rhea's the one that we've lost to. And Otto is like, yeah, she was, I mean, really, we don't know if she died or not, but it's very, very unlikely she survived. She was brave, she was, oh man, and, at this point, Yuvin's puts his arm on Otto's shoulder. It's like, it's okay, man. It's all right. I know, grief hurts for a long time.
Quietly hums, just very, very quietly hums. Sort of soothe herself and hopefully, in some small way, soothe the men as well.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I recall it was either you, Yuvan, or someone else mentioned your adventuring party, and unless I'm mistaken, you might. Yeah, I believe someone mentioned you also ran into somebody by the name of Kaysen. Am I remembering correctly?
Kaysen. Otto and Yuvan look at each other. Kaysen. I'm double checking. I think Kaysen is the name of the big bad guy that you're facing off against yourself, Toba.
True, but I could have sworn I heard him mentioned a few sessions back, like as part of the party. I could be mistaken. If I am, groovy. That's fine.
Okay. Double checking my notes because I think I know the character who mentioned Kaysen, and it's not one of these two. Because I believe the character that you are thinking of is a lot older than these two.
Right. Okay. I think I know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
Or who you're referring to.
Also, I'm just typing down notes on my end that the stream doesn't see, but I have kind of like a program called Obsidian. It's basically a notepad for people with ADHD, but also really good for taking notes for things like this. Discuss Enethiel. Oh, come on. Enethiel. Save that. All right. So at this point, you and Otto, they're like, okay, well, at this point, that journal, we're not entirely sure why it disappeared. And you, Toba, you said you found it, and it whisked you off to Shadowfell.
So wait, that's the same journal that I found, is what you're implying?
Yeah, that is the same journal. That's kind of why I left that day. I had a talk with Otto here, and Otto was like, "What? No, you didn't talk to me." And he slowly morphs into a much taller, thin, ganglier Dragonborn. He's like, "You were speaking to Felicity." "Yes, of course. I believe we've met already, Drogar."
Yes, that we have. I remember you.
Yes, but of course. And at this point, he is going to slowly morph back into the base Otto form.
Interesting. Well, yes, then I suppose that is the same journal that did take me to that weird other location, and that's where I found Baggin Raggin.
Raggin, you're just nodding along with the story, not entirely sure what's going on, but at this point you're like, "Oh,
I'm
yeah."
just absent-minded, just kind of like, oh, yeah.
Otto looks like, "Is he all right?"
Sometimes we wonder ourselves.
Best to just
normal
roll.
person.
Best just to roll with the punches, as the dwarves would say.
I'm not entirely sure the dwarves would say that. Otto, would the dwarves say that? And Dwarven's like, no. And Otto is like, I already transformed into Rilva. I don't want to do it again. Not unless, plan on buying something, little Baggin or Raggin. Yeah, because the reason I warp is because, people like talking to mostly their same race. So Ewan's like, it's like, keep on the story, pal. Otto is like, oh, right, yeah. We'll discuss about the reason why I'm 7 or 8 people in this store later.
Fair enough, but that still doesn't explain the writings that was in the journal, the ones I wasn't able to make out, and how that particular journal has drawings referring to the deities of Storachio.
Otto is listening and says, "Oh yeah, that's because it's written in Urassican."
Urassican.
Yep, Urassican. It's very old, ancient. It's one of those languages that it's so old that if you try to decipher languages, you won't get anything out of it. It is.
Can you spell that out for me?
It's like Jurassican, except it's. Let me. Should be in the chat there. Kind of like Jurassican, but without the J. So Urassican, not Urassican, because that would be a little problematic.
Could I roll a?
Jurassican who, huh?
You bet Jurassican. Right. Okay.
Could I roll maybe a history check and see if maybe that might be some correlation with Storachio?
Go ahead and roll for me. Oh, I totally forgot to have my Dungeon Master screen open.
Oops.
Oops, I did.
No, by that I mean a file that I have that is just a giant Word document, but it has all that, so it's got all the things to roll for. Oh snap! I need to go to my desktop. Stream is gonna go blank for Yep. Stream is gonna go blank real quick. One moment. That's my backdrop from Tetris Effect.
Ooh, shiny.
Yep, that's not what I'm looking for. Personal related. Was it under game ideas? All right. Nope. One of these is the correct thing. Oh, there it is. All right. DM screen stuff. Okay. Stream is coming back. Okay. Hopefully you'll be able to edit out the Tetris Effect background. We may not be, have permission to do that.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll try and keep things as easy for the VOD. Okay, so history check. Yeah, go ahead, roll a history check for me.
That's a negative stat. Hold on, I can get something out of this.
Wow.
Yeah, you
Natural
got it.
20. Well,
Okay.
Natural 19.
So a 19. All right. So, what was it you wanted to know about Aasimar?
If the language has any correlation with Sterachio.
Okay, you recall the journal, and you recall your time on the island, and the images of the two gods that were there. That would be Quetzalcoatlus and Majari, who, let's see, the dinosaur god of carnivores is Quetzalcoatlus, the pterosaur with a feathered cloak. But then we have Majari, who is depicted like an apatosaur with human-like proportions, but still has like thick fingers. The neck is certainly long, but it, it's one of those things where if I draw it out, it'll look silly, but trust me, it isn't. And
I
you
dig it.
recall writings that were there that the ancients, the folk that lived there, and you know that over the many years, most of what's there is written more or less in a more modern language, but some of these old statues that are there, in fact, some of the writings that's in the ballpark, a park where there are water fountains that spin balls around, because you made this joke in like the second episode and I had to incorporate it somehow.
Squeezy?
The ballpark. You made a joke about something being in the
Oh,
ballpark.
now I
So
remember.
there are fountains where it's like a giant marble ball and it like spins the ball in this water fountain. It's a cool look, and there are multiple within this area. And you recall some of the writings on there are worn, but some of the what you might think are letters and characters, they match some of the stuff in that journal. So you asked about like what did these mean, and the folk that look at the folk will look at it like, oh, that's like love, peace, and prosperity, I think, because it's been so long. But you know that at this point, like, this is a very, very old language, and good luck trying to read it.
Well, dang, you just took the wind out of my sails. Thanks.
Above game, if we ever get that book again, would Hum be able to read it with the decipher language, comprehend languages thing?
You may certainly try. After
Okay,
what Otto
so-
just said.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. But yeah, Otto is, with this, so, Toba, you realize that, yeah, Otto is definitely saying the truth. Like, this is a very old language, Aasimar. And, Otto is like, yeah, well, when that book disappeared, and apparently it's able to warp around now, I'm not sure why that is. But you said it brought you to Shadowfell?
I assume that's where I assume that's where I was. I've never seen the place before. Going off of I believe what Baggin Raggin told me. I believe that was, you said it was Shadowfell?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Huh.
So yes, again, I can't say I've ever been there.
Okay. Yuvin's like, well, you did go somewhere that wasn't here. And he's like motioning in, the current area. You came back soaking wet. I do remember that much. Can't forget that smell. Oof. Sorry, Toba.
Well, excuse me.
Hey, it's like a dog, it's, Otto looks at Yuvin, it's like, and you think I'm the troublemaker? He was like, no, sorry.
Toba crosses his arms and squints a little.
Yuvin's like, I'm sorry. That was completely out of line. But yeah, nevertheless, about the journal and Anathiel. I think if you want to go to Anathiel, you will need that journal. And Otto and I, our adventuring days are kind of behind us. I mean, Otto looks at Yuvin's like, I'm making a steady, decent living here. No, it's not as much as we did back when we were part of the Adventurer Guild as, the adventurers, but we don't have to risk our necks anymore. And I mean, stability is kind of important when you get to be in your, late 20s. Yuvin looks at Otto. Nope. He's like, you're in your late 20s, huh? Oh, didn't realize that. Man, the years go by not as quick as I thought. Anyways, hang on one moment. I need a cough. Yeah, I might need to mute my microphone because my allergies have been acting up like crazy over the past in real life, but nevertheless.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Such is the case with a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. But nevertheless, Yuvin is like, if you do manage to find that journal, if you can somehow keep it from disappearing or warping people around, it should be helpful. Yuvin's like scratching his head. Thing is, Otto and I, we couldn't quite figure out what that journal was to get to Anathiel. We knew that it was supposed to get us there. We tried reading it, but we couldn't. But supposedly, we headed out to Tlimmer because we thought, that's as far west as we can really go within Corvos. Corvos being the continent that, contains the Corvos Union. Yeah. And Yuvin's like, we were hoping we would go out there, but on the way, stuff happened. But yeah. But if it's related to Shadowfell, maybe those death bells may have something to do with it. Because you came back, we checked on the death bells, and they weren't doing very well. And also, you guys, he points, to the group in general. Most of y'all took care of a tree in the Feywild that was similar in look to all that.
Hum nods.
All right. Well,
Do you remember that?
yeah. Well, I mean, I do know that time works pretty crazy in the Feywild. Otto nods like, yeah, it does. And Yuvin thinking about what those flowers, they've been on the mend. I mean, it's slow. The whatever disease it was, slowly receding over the past, weeks and a half or so since that. When was that session? Oh, yeah, that would have been the 17th of the 5th month, and now it is the 5th of the 6th month. So it's been a couple of weeks. And, yeah, the flowers are definitely on the mend. But, yeah, still, no one's been able to find that journal, as far as I can tell. We've, mentioned it to people, and if it's... Yuvin's, really scratching his head. Magic is kind of a little bit beyond me. Otto, not so much, but do you have any ideas why it's warping around, Otto? And Otto is thinking, man, I don't have a clue either. But,
Now, wait a minute. Last time I saw the journal, he points to Yuvin, you had it.
Well, you set it down on the counter, it shook and vibrated and then disappeared.
Oh, I thought you took it. Excuse me.
No, yeah.
All right. Statement redacted. Didn't happen.
Sure. So at that point, thinking, what do I want to have happen here? But yeah, sounds like you guys need that journal. But Toba, you were also heading out to Mount Zareen, was it?
Yeah, and thanks to unfortunately, thanks to the incident with the bandits, I'm actually a little behind schedule.
Yeah, you are. Because, thing is, I got a job coming in. It's, I think Mac told you about his buddy Bezin, who's a bit of an eccentric gnome, I'll tell you that much. But he mentioned that he needs you guys to go up and help him on I need to check my calendar for this. Yep. On the 11th. He needs you up there he needs you in, we're going to the map real quick. Covation map. So the area that he is mentioning, you guys probably know about it. It is Clovenshire. Now, fortunately, the towns are split apart. It takes half a day's journey to go from Wardbloom to Port Town, and then another half a day to go from Port Town to Mesaville, and then a third half of a day, so 1.5 days if you were to, so like a day of travel to get to Mesaville, and then another, well, half a day to get to Clovenshire. And this is where Bezin is going to need you. However, he mentions you are going to go from Wardbloom off to Mount Zareen here, and that's a 3-day journey. It's also going to take a full day to get from the bottom of Mount Zareen to the top and then back down again. And we're going to go right back to autos. And Ewan is pointing to you, Toba, and it's like, how long is this ceremony going to take?
Jeez, what? Let me double check my notes. So it's 3 days to get to Mount Zareen from Wardbloom.
Yep, 3 days to go from Wardbloom to Mount Zareen, and then it takes another full day to get on to the top and the bottom because you need to go to a peak facing the rising sun.
When are we needed for this job?
The job is going to be, let's see, currently it is the 5th. Right now it's about like 11 o'clock or so. So the 5th and then 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. 6 days. On the night of the 6th day, you need to be in Clovenshire for this job. So as you were doing the math, you're thinking you are definitely a little behind schedule. Yuvan is looking at you. It's like, I could try and find some other people for it, but you guys really are like some of the best. If only there was, hang on, stalling because
I have an idea.
Oh, no wonder I'm looking at the wrong folder. That's why I can't find them.
Right.
Okay.
Let me ask,
Oops.
how much travel would it be as the dragonflies?
How far would it be as the dragonflies? Gee,
I legit have a reason to ask.
Do you ask this out loud?
Yes, I do.
As soon as
And Toba's serious.
off there, one moment, I had to mute my mic. So as you ask, how fast does it get there as the dragon flies? You all hear this rather familiar. And with that, zoop, this yellow small dragon character that I think all of you would recognize it. Corrind, who's been has been strangely quiet this whole time, like takes a step back. It's like, oh goodness, and and
I'm dragon directly behind Toba.
no, this.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, so the dragon has just appeared on the counter. It's like leaning on the register, like all laissez-faire. And just...
God damn it.
Oh, now,
Casts comprehend languages to, or is it still in effect after the reading the note?
it lasts for how long? I can double check here real quick because I can do that. But then again, I'm also streaming, so going back and forth between windows, kind of a problem. So, but yeah, I can do that. You know what? This is very much a behind the scenes
Duration
look.
is 1 hour. Duration is 1 hour.
All right. So the duration of 1 hour. I will say that you probably have a couple minutes left. So if you want to recast it, you're more than welcome to. And
I think for the few minutes she's going to understand Puck for a bit.
Okay, understand Puck. So Drogar. Normally, when this dragon speaks, it's in Draconic, but this time around, it's in a different language entirely. In fact, I'm gonna double check something. Does anyone here understand Sylvan?
Oh, definitely
no.
not me.
Nope.
All right. So, at this point, Drogar, normally when this character speaks, like, you understand it, but in this case, you don't understand a word of what Puck has said. The comprehend languages, you hear the, it's good to see you again, little shapeshifter. And Otto says, oh, it's good to see you too, Ivorin.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yuvin's like, wait, hang on. Ivorin, did you happen to become Puck by any chance? And, so the yellow dragon's like, oh, I think it's actually orange. Yeah, I think it's orange. For some reason, it's like a yellow border, but I should get around to changing that sometime. But Puck is going on there. And you hear this as, oh, yes, of course. It was a while ago that I became the Puck of the Sealy Court. But nevertheless, I believe you are in need of some time saving, as it were. And Yuvin's looking at him like, I can't understand a word he is saying. Otto, could you? Otto's like, yeah, of course. He did become Puck. He got the title of Puck from the Sealy Court. I mean, we were there once. And Yuvin's like, I'm so glad you understand Sylvan. And Otto's like, all right, yeah, go to the and he's speaking to Puck in Sylvan. And is, the spell slowly starts to fade. You understand? It's like, yes, we are in need of some time saving. What do you rest of us? At that point, like, the spell ends at that point. Would you like to recast it?
Yes, I would. She's going to as discreetly as she could clink away at her kalimba.
Okay. If you're trying to do this, roll a stealth check for me.
Okay, stand by.
Mm-hmm.
$16.
16. With a 16, as the spell fades, you ping, ding, ding, play a little bit on your kalimba, and you do it in a way that no one seems to notice that you played a couple quick notes on the kalimba. And as the language comes back to you, you hear Pucks say, like, oh, well, it appears that the king himself requires an audience with this wonderful group of adventurers. And if you need to save time and perhaps distance, I have been ordered to bring them to him safely. And at this point, you kind of get the sense that Puck is a little hesitant to go back to the king. And at this point, so you kind of understand that. Otto, speaks to him. It's like, I mean, sure, let me relay that with the boss. Yeah, Yuvin. So apparently, Oberon wants to speak with this group. And Yuvin's like, oh, the king of the Sealy Court. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sure. Payment as usual, I guess. I mean well, if you guys want to agree with that, I mean, you guys did skip a week in the Feywild, which, bees be careful in the Feywild. I mean, you don't want to go in the Feywild without a guide. And Puck is over there, he just, he's like, listening along. And as soon as, Yuvin is making mention of having a guide to go through there, you see Puck, like, normally it's like a little happy and jovial. At this point, you see him pause a little bit, but then, like, gonna go back to nodding. So
Hum is going to quietly raise her hand, see if she can, if she could ask something.
sure. Yuva notices like, yes, Hum. Did you have something to ask?
What is wrong, Puck?
You were saying this to Puck. So comprehend languages means that you understand him and they understand you?
Comprehend languages. I can understand them, but they won't understand me if I don't speak in a language. If I speak in a language that they don't know.
Okay.
And I'm speaking in common here.
Okay. So Otto turns around and he says like, Puck, is everything okay? And Puck is going, yep. Oh yeah. Everything's totally fine. Hang on. Wab is coughing.
Take your time.
I swear it's my allergies. Ever since in real life stuff, I had to help my grandparents move to a new apartment. Farmhouse they lived in for 59 years had a lot of dust. So.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, that'll act up for several weeks. But yeah.
Fun times.
Oh yeah, a lot of fun times. But yeah, Puck is saying like, oh yes, everything is absolutely fine.
Why are you seeming a lot more hesitant than usual?
Otto is wait, hang on. Otto looks at you. It's like, are you comprehending languages right now?
I am. I didn't want to be out of the conversation.
Oh, okay. I mean, Otto's like, well, I mean, there have been, not the weirdest thing that's here. Hi, he like raises his hand and waves. But yeah, Otto, Otto's like, so he tells him in something, you seem a little more hesitant than usual. And Puck is going, the king is, he may have found out about the incident and I got reprimanded just a little bit. But nevertheless, don't tell you when I was guiding them, please. Otto says, like, your secret's safe with me.
Just rolls her eyes and says nothing.
All right. So yeah, Yuvin is like, I assume there won't be any problem with you going to see the King Oberon of the Sealy Court then? I mean, if he's asking for you directly, that's a great honor.
I mean, it doesn't really sound like we have a choice.
Yuvin's
It
like,
was the whole reason it was the whole reason Drogar was given Ursus, actually, if memory recalls.
and Otto's, oh yeah, is that the bear that's outside right now, looking at the potions? Weirdly enough, and you all turn and look at the window, and Ursus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where they changed the icons for Roll20. It's kind of throwing me off. PC characters, Ursus. That is in the wrong layer. This is the fun things you see as a DM. And you see Ursus, like his nose is pressed up against the glass, just looking. He's like looking. He looks at Drogar for a little bit, and then he looks like at some of the potions that kind of look like food.
No, Ursus, no.
So Ursus like, leans back, and there's that perfect smudge on the window. Otto looks like, oh, goodness, I have to clean that off later.
Apologies about him. He's just a bear.
Otto looks, it's like, it's a Feywild bear, which is a little different. And by that, I mean, most bears are, he takes his hands and he like spreads them wide. Most bears are large, but Feywild bears, they're meaty, like extra medium, supposedly. But yeah, they are, I mean, if that was a gift from Oberon, then sure. Oberon's a decent guy. He's, Otto like looks at Yuvan and it's like, should we warn them a little bit about them? And Yuvan's like, Oberon is a good character. He sometimes does things that are a little wild and out there, but he's eccentric. And Puck is over there. He's like, starting, just leaning against the register. Now he's like crawled on top of the register and looks towards you, Hum. It's like, if you wish to convince the group to follow along, we shall be most welcome. So,
considering the last time, I mean, granted you were reprimanded, but what was the reprimand that would keep
at
you
this
from
point,
doing exactly
Puck
same?
is like leaning back. Yuvin's like, oh wait, hang on. Are you speaking to in comprehend languages, but you don't speak Sylvan? So you're saying this in common?
I'm saying this in common.
So as soon as you say reprimanded, Puck is like leaning back. Yuvin's like, wait, I'm sorry, you were the guide, and at this point,
Whoops.
yeah, at this
I
point he's
forgot
like,
about that part.
zoop. At this point, Puck just like disappears, like, zoop. And you hear this buzzing sound go by, and there's like items on the shelves start clinking and whatever, and a potion like starts to tip and about to fall over, and then it stops in midair and then is put back in place. Yuvin's like, you have got to be kidding me. Ivorin, you absolute jerk. Ugh. I don't think he meant to, but man, if the Feywild is awful, and you guys were fighting a tree there. Did he deliberately lead you to that tree?
Now that you say that, and Veronan will narrow his eyes a little. It seemed as that way.
And you all hear this, and Hum, at this point, you hear him. It's like, no, it was totally unintentional, completely unintentional. I told you guys to sneak past it.
He was.
Is Puck saying it?
Yeah, Puck is saying this. You're hearing this shrill voice,
And-
like somewhere within the store, but it's invisible.
She, in spite of her distrusting nature about Puck, she speaks up saying, he was leading us through what he, considering his original joke was to, I guess, leave us in Wardbloom instead of Port Town at the time. I think he was just trying to find the best route for it, and that tree just happened to be there.
And you hear this, and at this Hum, you hear this as, the woman speaks the truth. The woman speaks the truth.
That's also a possibility.
Yuvin's like, Ivorin, I know you're a trickster and all of that, but that last trick you pulled was very mean. I need to double check something with invisibility. If I control FINVIS, okay, find all. Invisible creature is impossible to see without the aid of magic or special sense. Attack rolls against a creature have disadvantage. Can be detected by any noise it makes or any tracks that it leaves. All right. The purpose of hiding, the creature is heavily obscured. I just want to try and see if Yuvin will be able to find him. Heavily obscured. Vision is blocked. Creatures are effectively blinded. All right. Creatures have disadvantage on perception checks that rely on sight. Heavily obscured. Which means, okay, so blind. You talked about any noise it makes or any track that it leaves. So with the bottle that was being tipped over at some point, Yuvin is like looking over there, and he's walking around the store. I'm going to give him disadvantage on this. Okay, so one of the rolls was a 20. The other roll was a 5.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ow.
Yuvin is like, so he like takes his fist and like tries to grab in midair, but you just hear this like one hand clapping sound. And Ivor's like, oh, you missed. You hear this. You have to try harder than that, little warrior, but please don't kill me. I swear it was an accident.
Don't egg him on.
All right. Okay. Well, Ivorin, I know that you are now the Puck. Not sure what happened to the old one, but at this point you hear you just hear the word retired. He retired. And Yuvin's like,
Yeah,
if
he's not going to say anything.
yeah. Yuvin's is looking around the store. do you promise to make sure that they get there in one piece, in a good time, and not screw us over? And you hear, and you, most of you, okay, Toba, that history check, I see that. So does the recording and the stream. Yeah, Puck is telling the truth with a history check. Oh wait, no.
No, that
what-
history check was for Urassican.
Right,
Yeah, that
right.
was
Sorry,
brilliant.
I'm an idiot. It's wee loopy hours, and so retired. Puck is, you see, and you don't really need to understand that Puck is saying yes, yes, of course. It's one of those like universal sounds. So at this point, Puck then zoop, appears over by Corrind, just like resting on her shoulder. Corrind just yipes a little bit, and Puck takes his hands and makes a particular motion with his hands, like and you understand this as, I promise to keep all of them safe, even the new ones. Even at this point, goes over, like, just stares at Puck, leans in, glares at him. I'm going to assume that was yes. Otto pipes up. Yeah, he said yes. So, Yuvan is... Okay. Well, to prepare you for your journey, he walks back over to the front of the desk. He drops a number of gold coins and says, Otto, hook them up with some rations. Enough for, a week at least. And Otto's like, oh, a week's worth of rations for all of them? Sure, let me just go procure them. And he goes ding-ding outside. No, not outside. He goes into like the back of the storeroom. And with that, Yuvan turns to the rest of your group and says, okay, so about Otto being a changeling, don't let that get out anywhere. Okay? It's
Nods.
yeah. Otto
Secret's safe with us.
Yep.
Otto, Toba just motions with his mouth the zip lip.
Yep. Yeah. Yuvan's like, Otto is a really good person. He and I have known each other for years. He's probably known me a lot longer because who knows what form he was in when we first met. But I will say that even though he is a changeling, and some people don't like it when they meet a person who can change their face, right? It's kind of, he's like, Kavacia has its problems, and one of those problems is changelings, because they're able to change their face, their looks, or whatever. There's way back in the day, they were hunted to near extinction around here. So if word got out that a changeling lived in Wardbloom, that would not do good. Right.
I could completely understand that.
Right.
Is looking thoughtful and just reaches up to under her veil and just lightly touches on her thorns, lightly touches on her horns, and just feels sorry for him.
Yeah. So just make sure. I mean, even if it's like a good friend that's around here, don't just go blurting it out. And at this point, the door opens. Ding, ding, ding. Matt comes in. It's like, yo, hey, have you got my order in yet, Cynthia? And Yuvan is there, and everyone else is there. Mac is like, whoa, hey, it's a big party in here, huh? And he looks over towards the orange dragon. It's like, oh, yeah, I remember you, I think. What was it? Hang on. Weren't you blue before? And Puck looks around and is like, slowly, but then like quickly nods his head. And Mac's like, huh, yeah, it's weird. Yeah, you Feywild people are kind of weird, changing colors and all that. That's totally weird. And Puck will just, hover, like go over towards you, and whisper in your ear, and you would understand this as, that was another dragon, but don't tell him.
Nods quietly this time.
Yeah. So at this point, coming from the back is this tall girl, and she's got like a bunch of rations in one hand, and she goes, oh, hey, Mac, your order's in. I just got to take care of all these first with Yuvan. And Yuvan is like, oh, thanks, Cynthia. Yeah, help these people on their way off to the Feywild. And let me just hide Ursus because technically he's not in here right now. Mac.
Hello.
Yep. So Cynthia goes about and starts, just dumps a bunch of rations out on the table and motions towards everybody to just, take them.
So how many is that altogether?
It's going to be 7 rations times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. So
42.
here's, 42.
42.
Yep, the Answer Life universe and everything. But Yuvan has already paid for it because he dropped just a number of gold coins there. So he's already paid for it.
That's fine. Just add 7 rations.
Yep, 7 rations to everybody.
Okie dokie.
Yep. Cynthia, who's there, it's like, all right, all right, Mac. Oh boy. Do you really need to have that much lard? And Mac's like, hey, you can't have a good meal without good lard, am I right? Cynthia's like, okay, I'll get the cart. And
As my cookie used to say back on the ship, I've got your 4 basic food groups: beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard.
Oh, that film. What a good film.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. So Mac is like, all right, yeah. Well, you guys seem to be all set. Yuvan, don't normally see you in here. You and Cynthia, are you like he like leans in. It's like, you got the hots for the Cynthia, huh? Yuvan is like, Mac, just get your stuff and go. Mac's like, hey man, I'm just trying to kid around. Can't have every day be utter serious or whatever. Yuvan is just rolling his eyes. So yeah. Anything else before you need to go?
So, just so I'm clear, we're going to see the dragon first, and then that's supposed to get to Mount Zareen, or...
We're going to talk to Lord Oberon, and Puck is going to guide us.
Okay.
Yep, I think that's kind of the idea. I mean, this ceremony that you're at, the Rising Sun, it sounds like it just needs to be early in the day. But Oberon is... You don't arrive early or late into his court. You arrive precisely when he means to.
Okay, Gandalf.
You're in the Feywild. Time works weird.
Oh yes, time works very weird in the Feywild. So, and from the
Okay.
Yep, and from the back you hear this oof as Cynthia, she is walking backwards through the door, and she has this hand cart that has this box that has 2 boxes actually stacked one on top of another, and you just see like lard, 20 pounds, or the equivalent of that in this world, and it's like printed on the side. She's like, could you? He like motions over towards Mac. Mac like takes the cart. It's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll bring the cart back, not a problem. And he tries lifting it. I'm gonna give a strength check to Mac, see if he's able to.
That one.
A 10. So,
Oh my fuck!
The lard just got everywhere. It'll never come out.
No. So at this point, he's like, I got it. I got it.
Toba will
it doesn't budge.
Okay, as I say, can Toba help out?
Sure. Go ahead and roll for me a strength check.
Is that
There
me
we
or
go.
Toba?
So you, Drogar, you also want to help?
I would like to help, yes.
All right. Both of you can make a strength check, or one can give the other advantage.
You know what?
Drogar, what's your strength modifier? Retro.
+5.
I will give you advantage.
All right. Go ahead. Roll twice.
All right. Here we go. Roll twice. All right, you got it.
I will give some emotional support.
Emotional support.
You can do it.
24.
All right. That's
I
one
think
roll.
I can do it.
All right. So roll again, and that's going to be a
Yeah. Yep.
advantage.
Take
Advantage.
the 24.
Take
the
it,
20.
24.
So
We're taking it.
I would love to see the sucks though.
That would have been so funny, but no, it's a 24.
I know.
So Toba and Drogar, you're about to roll over, and Toba, you're like, no, I'll step back. And Drogar, you with like one hand just take the cart and push, lean it back, and you look over towards Mac, and Mac is like, oh yeah, just bring it over by the Adventures Guild. We'll get set up real quick, right? And Max like goes over to the door, opens the door for you. So
He just starts humming along for nothing.
so yeah, with a car.
Meanwhile, in an alternate universe, the barrel smashes into Drogar and he dies like a Kremlin Donkey Kong. Just
No, the crate would have like spilled open, but whatever. So yeah, these two are on their way to the Adventurers Guild, temporarily. So the rest of you, what are you doing?
Hum is well is there still going to be conversation regarding the Sealy Court stuff, or is
Sealy Court?
Hum is Hum just going to just wander around?
At this point, if you wish to ask about the Sealy Court, Puck is there, but you don't speak a language that he understands. And the one person in the party who does just walked out with 2 giant crates of lard.
Well, isn't that just fantastic?
Yep.
So I would recommend waiting until you're like on the road.
Fair enough.
Toba just out of random curiosity just pokes Puck. Just boop.
And at this point, Puck looks at you and looks around. Zoop, disappears.
Oh no! I popped it like a bubble.
And at this point,
Why are you like this?
you feel a little tickle at the tip of your trunk. Cynthia's like, no, not towards the potions, not towards the potions.
At the last minute, he towards Veronan.
And Puck then later reappears next to Veronan. There's really not a whole lot of room here. Zip, zip, zip. Next to Veronan, he's like, well, that's it. And Hum, you recognize this sound as boop.
I didn't hear that.
Oh,
No one heard that.
Silence.
Okay. Is Discord working? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So Puck reappears next to Veronan, and he says, ha, doop, doop. And Hum, with the uncomprehended languages, you hear this as boop.
Hum is actually stifling a giggle. This is actually she found this quite adorable.
All right.
Toba will take a handkerchief and just kind of wipe Veronan's face. Sorry about that.
Veronan.
Just no worries.
All right. Yuvin at this point looks around. It's like, well, I should get back to the Adventurers Guild. Keep that place running. I'm sure your buddy Drogar will meet you outside. Turns over to he's like, take care, Otto. Cynthia. And Cynthia is like nodding along. He's like, you take care of yourself too, Yuvin. And Yuvin, exits the store. And Cynthia looks around and is like, well, you have your ration, so unless you guys are planning on buying something, you can feel free to head out.
Hum nods and holds a hand out to Cynthia, hoping to shake it.
Cynthia looks at your hand. It's like, we haven't really I haven't really sold anything to you. Why do we need to shake hands?
It was good to meet you, regardless.
Oh, that's
Probably
why.
fine.
That's why, of course. So Cynthia reaches over and, grabs and shakes your hand. It's very...
Thank you for trusting us.
Yep. As you're shaking her hand, you notice that it's a little firmer than what a normal woman would give you. But, of course, at this point, you it's a little stronger than usual. Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, she's not going to fuss about that. She understands. She's also going to, well, after she's done shaking hands, she's going to turn around and hold a hand out to Puck. You may not understand me, but I want to apologize for assaulting you earlier.
And Puck is hovering there, looking at the hand, looks back at Cynthia, and Cynthia goes, and Hum, you comprehend language, so you hear it. She says to shake her hand. It's wonderful to meet you. Don't worry about it. Whatever. And Puck just flips over and looks at the hand, and then he rests on your arm, the forearm that you have extended there. And he leans up, takes his finger, boop, you right on the nose. To which he says, like, I like greeting my own way.
Giggles and takes her free hand and gives him a pat on the back.
It's kind of scaly, but also it's, like the dragonfly wings are there, but it's scaly there. So Puck is there, and it's like, I suppose we should be on our way. And, he starts to fly, looks towards the door. It's like, could one of you get this for me so we can start getting going?
Toba will head towards the door, and on the way, he'll pick up Baggin and put him on his shoulder.
All right.
Because, nope, I'm not going to let that go.
So, Baggin, you're just letting this happen?
Oh, yeah, totally.
All right.
Eternal uppies.
Yep. All right. So
then Toba will just hold the door open for Puck.
Yep. All right. So at this point, I'm assuming everyone is going to be leaving the store. Cynthia waves out. It's like, thank you for shopping at Autos. And we are going to, we're going to jump to Wardbloom. I need to get everybody out here. So Ursus is there. We have Corrind, Toba, Baggin, Raggin, Hum. These two aren't going to be in the picture. Yep. There are some things that my players don't see, but you as the audience who are seeing behind the DM screen do. And at this point, you all notice that Ursus is no longer in front of Otto's Emporium as you are walking out, and Puck, I need to get Puck out here. Oh, where is Puck? There he is. He's like flying along, and he leads you out towards a particular corner of a street that isn't out towards the woods yet, but it is closer to the Adventurers Guild. And eventually out walks Drogar, and Ursus is standing right outside the Adventurers Guild, like sitting down, but you see like the little stub of a tail just wagging back and forth. Yeah, so Drogar, who you have to stop and wonder who keeps 30-pound boxes of lards up on a shelf. That seems completely stupid, but if it works for Mac, it works for Mac.
Maybe I should be telling my folks about that. Maybe might clear some space.
Yeah, the Adventurers Guild has its way of doing things. So, at this point, you all, Ursus is following you. You're petting Ursus. The whole gang's up together. So at this point, hang on. Didn't mean to click on that. So Puck is looking forward, and he's flying around. He's like, at this point, Hum, that conversation took about half an hour that entire time, I'd say. So, hang on, I need to cough again.
Take your time.
Yeah. I don't know what it is with this after fall, early winter weather. It always causes my allergies to act up. It's so weird. I think it's like related to mold, but or like mold or moss or stuff outside, but whatever. At this point, Puck is flying out ahead, and he is motioning towards the woods.
I think it's safe to assume that
That's
we're all
Oh,
that we're going
Let's
to.
go meet. Let's meet the king, shall we?
well, onward.
I'm ready to go.
All right, so everyone, a little bit into this, Puck is leading the way, and everyone is going to end up into the woods outside. Oh, hang on. Let me just get
Into the woods.
Corrind.
Into the woods.
Yep, into the woods we go. I was like, hang on, there's a character missing. Oh, that's right, Puck is missing.
This little boy.
Yep.
What's new?
So at this point, Puck is motioning out towards the woods, and it's, maybe a 5 or so minute hike going from Ward Blue to the edge of the woods into what we would consider like the deep woods. So, you wanted to talk about the Sealy Court. This is probably a good time for any conversation you wish to have with Puck.
And Drogar would probably be the one to translate at this point.
Yep, at this point. Should we
Right.
have a marching order by any chance?
I suppose I should probably take the lead with the bear right behind me.
Okay. Drogar, Ursus, Puck is in the lead there.
Is going to go next to Ursus, having Drogar between her and Puck.
Okay. Executive decision, Corrin's going to be in the back.
Okay.
In that case, I think Toba will kind of chill in the middle.
All right. I just want to check
I'm on.
something on
I'm
my
kinda
end. The
on
stream
it,
is going to
so,
see
you know.
this. Yep, while you guys are doing this, I'm going to check something with... Oh, nope, that's the wrong character.
So then by
double check-
proxy, Baggin Raggin is also going to be
Yeah,
there.
exactly. I'm
Okay.
on his shoulder. You're like, wherever he is, I am.
All
Yeah,
right.
pretty much.
Okay, we have our marching orders. Corrind would not understand Puck, by the way. So, at this point, Puck is leaning out ahead, just hovering in front of you, and then darts back over to Hum. And it's like, at this point, he's speaking in Sylvan, and he's saying, so you can comprehend languages. For how long can you keep this up?
She taps Drogar. Could you tell? This will be a strange ask, but could you tell this little one that I can comprehend languages for 1 hour?
You can comprehend languages for 1 hour.
You're saying this in Draconic?
Yes.
Okay, so Puck looks over to Drogar and, sits on top of your shoulder a little bit. Well, an hour, so it's been about... You wouldn't have long to understand me in Sylvan, so I shall... And at this point, it's a little jarring for comprehend languages to go from one language to another, but so the Sylvan language would be like a softer, flowinger language, but Draconic is a little harsher. So it's kind of like going from one English accent to another. So at this point, you hear like
Hum jitters a little bit, and then
Yep.
just
But Puck is like, I'll just talk in Draconic while you people are out and about. Language of the dragons. That way, this wonderful... so at this point, I think he's going to say, this wonderful Gazanovasna is very much... Drogar, you don't understand what he says, but it sounded like a compliment. Hum, you understand what he stood in Sylvan. It's like, this giant oaf here is shall be our interpreter for the moment.
above me, screw you, Puck.
You motherfucker.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Puck is quite an interesting character. So, and Puck is, at this point, he is like directing with his hand, and Drogar, could you be a good friend? If I point in a direction, just walk in a general that way direction, right? I'll make sure we end up in the Sealy Court in no time. Well, rather, not so much no time, but within a reasonable time.
You got it.
Of course. And so he will say then, so, Hum, is there anything you wish to ask me? While we're working on it, feels like you were going to ask something for me in that wonderful little store.
What were you What was the reprimand in particular?
At this point, Drogar,
There.
you feel like there's teeny tiny claws just wrap around your around your back where a Puck is. You feel like just a slight tense with claws on your back about when Hum asks something about reprimanding, and
He just looks over for like a brief second and just doesn't even question it. He just kind of shakes his head a little bit and just keeps walking. He acknowledges it. He just doesn't say anything.
Yeah. I'm going to assume that whatever Hum asks, you are going to then relay to Puck in Draconic. So we can kind of like skip the role playing aspect of one person talks and the other person talks and the third person talks. That'd just be weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might as well save the time and go ahead and do that.
Yep. So you're kind of like the interpreter, and as you were to say reprimand, you feel like the claws on your back, and Puck is like, well, the king was not happy that the appointed time was far later than it was. What was going to happen was I just dropped you off at Wardbloom at the correct time of day. It was not supposed to be a week, and the reprimand was the Feywild has many areas that time goes by very, very slowly compared to the outside world. I was locked in there for what you people would think would be a week, but for me it felt a lot more like a century. It was
horrible.
Oh, make no mistake, it's certainly a kindness. It was the old Puck retired, but man, he definitely got into some trouble, I can tell you that much. Oh, I could tell you plenty of stories about him. But, well, when you turn violet, you have to kind of give up the position of Puck.
That is
fair.
That's foreboding.
No. So
No, I was saying that above game.
Okay, above game. Puck gets a sense of what? No. Turning violet does not mean anything bad. It just means you've gotten old. After all, us fairy dragons, we don't really live forever. The Feywild out here, like I said, it felt like I was in a century, but the Feywild definitely works in mysterious ways, not just in time itself, but also some areas will mess with your mind, and that section is kind of, a bit of a prison, a mind prison, as it were. You yourself would, age at the appropriate rate, but mentally it would feel like a lot longer. So you do not ever want to go in there. And Drogar, at this point, you feel Puck shiver as you're relaying this information a little bit at a time.
Are you going to be okay?
Puck looks at you and is like, "Oh, I'll be fine. Left, please."
Very well.
Yep.
And so he turns to the left.
Yep, turns to the left and walks a little bit further into the forest. And Puck looks at you and is like, "Was that all you wanted to ask?"
I have one more thing to ask.
Oh?
Why do you want to see Drogar specifically?
Me see
Why
Drogar specifically? No. It's the king.
I meant, but why does Oberon want to see Drogar?
Oh, you'll have to ask the king himself about that if he wishes to know. I am merely a Puck, a messenger of the king. That's kind of what the Puck title was about. So, as the shapeshifter had told you, my real name is Ivorin, and that is the name. Puck is a title within the Sealy Court. I am a messenger to go about, but I also have some freedoms to play some tricks on other people. Because after all, a world without laughter and smiles is certainly not a world worth living in, right?
Agreed.
Yes. But why Drogar specifically? And Drogar, as you're relaying this information, you are waiting for a response from Puck after he says about you specifically, and you don't get any. You turn to look at Puck, and Puck is just staring right at you, like stroking his chin a little bit, like trying to think of a reason. And Am I still here? Drogar, you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I apologize. I realized I did not have my thing set to on. My bad. Say that one more time. No.
All right. So at this point, Puck is like, as to why the king would want Drogar specifically, and you don't hear a response immediately afterwards, but you look at Puck, and he's just stroking his chin, looking at you, like trying to think of a reason why.
Oh, the entire he just slowly, like, his eyes just like squint and just looks over at him. Is like, what do you want me for?
Puck looks at you. He's like, "Oh, don't mind me. I don't know. I don't know the king's every whim and wish and all that. But maybe it's from where you're from."
Does he not? Do neither of you talk to the other one?
Of course, I talk to the king. He talks to me. He just mentioned that there was a particular person of interest that was a gift to bear to. But of course, I had to make sure because he was a little vague. It was just a Dragonborn over in this area, should be in Wardbloom, and had to go through here and to make sure you were the correct one with that little test of rats, which I'm glad you and your gang absolutely trounced those rats.
Toba belches.
Jumps a bit
and looks back at him.
All right. So Puck is
Yes, that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
well, I'm
Says you.
Yep. Well, Puck looks back at Drogar, looks back at Hum. It's like, I think maybe it's not so much the person himself, even though he is very strong. Maybe it's from where he's from that's of the king's interest. But we shall.
My farm.
Oh, it's quite possible. But we'll just have to see himself. Turn to the right here, please. Yep.
Very well.
Yep. Oh, and make sure you follow the leaves that are going the wrong direction.
The wrong direction.
It's as you say this. Go ahead and give for me. Double check something for me because you're in the lead. I need you to give me a nature check.
A nature check. I am prevalent in that. Here we go. Oh!
Natural one. Okay.
Okay, natural 20. There you go.
All right. With a 23. The leaves that go the wrong direction. What are you talking about? As you look in, there is a tree branch that that leaves that they have a stem, and then the fat part of the leaf is towards the branch, and then as the leaves comes out, like the pointy part of this particular leaf. I think it's like an elm leaf that kind of does that. I double checked. Yeah. This particular tree, you take a look, and looking at all the branches, it's like the fatter part of the leaf is at the very end, and the stem is like from the narrower end, and it's attached to the branch. So it's like the entire tree looks like that. It's like, okay, that must be one of them. That must be that tree. And as you go forward, you start noticing that nature here is starting to get a little weird. That there are, as you're walking by, there's like bioluminescence going on in some of the vines. It's like just out of the corner of your eye, you start seeing it. And yep, slowly but surely, you've all realized that you have now walked into the Feywild.
Ooh, so pretty.
Yep. So as you are walking along, and
So deadly.
yes, very much so. I need to get Puck into the token layer. So Puck is still in the lead. So we have Drogar's in the lead. Baggin, Raggin, Veronan, Toba, Corrind's in the back. Ursus is there.
Always second to last, please.
Always second. All right.
Have me always second to last in the Feywild, for the love of God.
Yep. All right. I'm just maneuvering everybody around. So as you're walking through this area, you so there are glowing vines that have reached down. There are purple flowers that are going about. You notice like the bark all of a sudden is going from mostly mottled browns to shades of pink here and there, and the shades of purple and others. The ground has a bit of fog going onto it, and the fog looks in some ways and You notice it's like swirling around, and Puck leans over to you, Drogar. It's okay, this is very important. You need to follow the fog wherever it flows around here. And yep, that will lead you directly to the Sealy Court.
Very well.
And he just starts looking around just to make sure that he's going the right direction, and he's doing he's doing what he can.
Yep. So, with the natural 20, I'll just give this to you. So the fog, it's like slowly drifting. It's like up to your knees kind of fog. So it's not particularly thick. You can still see the ground, and there are hills that come up. And as you look and notice, the fog is like slowly drifting, kind of like a lazy river. And, there are some leaves that are like, just floating a little bit into it or like scuttling around. So, all right, so you follow this direction. And at first it's like a small little stream. But as you are getting, as you are following this fog river of some sort, you notice that there are other smaller little lines coming together, kind of like a tributary. And eventually the fog beneath your feet thickens, so that way you can barely see the ground, but it's also going a little quicker.
Okay. All right. So then he will go ahead and keep following this. He somehow seems mesmerized by just how the fog looks on the floor. He's just like, wow, this is like some really interesting stuff. Like he's never seen fog before almost. He's just like looking around, just not really turning his head. But anybody who may look at his face, like if they just catch up and look at him, he's just kind of like, he's just slightly wide-eyed, just like he's just interested. Like, whoa.
All right.
Oh man, that's
So,
some shit.
okay, Drogar.
That's some shit.
All right, Drogar. With that, I need you to make a dexterity save for me.
Oh, God.
Boy. Give me 1 second.
Oh, golly gee.
Oh gee, ruin the fun for him, why don't you?
Oh my!
Oh no!
All right. So you are absolutely enamored with all of this. You don't even notice that Puck has lifted off from your shoulders even. As all of a sudden, as you're looking down, you feel this very sharp thwack at the very base of your skull as you are walking by. And at this point, you just thwack, ow! The rest of you, as you are walking along, you see Drogar, he's really obsessed with the ground, and a tree branch that is bent, unbends as being let go by something, and just thwacks him right on the top of the head.
Puck's a dick.
And you hear this, and Puck is also laughing. As from behind a tree, there is a, I had to dye this one because I'm not going to make a bunch of different of these graphics, but you see a green little fairy, kind of like a fairy dragon come around. He's like doubled over laughing, just.
Okay, there, Drogar.
And Puck is laughing as well.
He realizes that it was just a trick, and he's just gonna do it all Homer Simpson. Just fucking...
As there's more laughter on one side. All of a sudden, you guys realize that there is a lot of laughter around you. I'm just going to be throwing these guys here. I'm going to be dyeing them different colors momentarily. So that one looks purple. It's supposed to be red. We've got one that's supposed to be yellow. We've got another one here that is, let's make that one cyan. I'm going to make this one just a darker blue color. And it's just...
Methinks we're getting close to the Celian Court. There seems to be a lot of pucks here.
And
Are you sure
a
that we
blue
aren't
one...
already in it?
Yep.
Sealy Court.
Yep. As you are coming forward, a blue one rests on your shoulders like, no, we are not all Pucks. We are merely fairy dragons. Puck is messenger. And your tongue. At this point, you recognize this as Glissenrock, one of the fairy dragons that you know of, and he was the one that took the key from Toba when you guys warped into the future by a week in order to fix this wibbly wobbly timey wimey thing.
Of course, I remember. Okay.
All right, so you are now surrounded by fairy dragons of all different colors, all different sizes, and they are all just doubled over laughing.
he's just rubbing his head and just getting even angrier. He desperately just wants to fucking grab one of them by the neck, all Bart Simpson style, but he does not act on it. He knows not to do that, but oh, good lord, does he want to do it?
Above
Yeah,
game, dude.
I'm sure they can tell.
Sorry, above game. Can we get Drogar saying, "Why you little?"
Perfect. Actually, let me make these. I need to make these guys like roughly the same size, and I'll leave that one as small.
You really say there. Some creatures say their bark is worse than their bite. I'm pretty sure the bark's worse.
I get it.
So at this point, Puck flies up, like, "Oh my goodness, you walked right into that one." But yes, we are very close to the City Court. Of course, these are all of my friends, and just give me a moment. And Puck, just starts looking at all of them, just like looks like he's darting his head between all of them. And Glissenrock, who is near Veronan, it's like, starts flying up right to Puck, and they're all starting to fly around a little bit. They're all just, it doesn't seem like they're trying to annoy you. It seems like they are just flying around communicating, but you don't really hear what they're communicating or how they're communicating. And Ursus,
Like bees?
Ursus, by the way, Drogar, you happen to notice that Ursus is like looking around at all of them, kind of like how a dog looks at, sky raisins. Like the smaller one gets a little too close to Ursus, and Ursus like snaps his jaws at him, and this one just zips out of the way. Oh, and to the viewers and also the people in the recording watching the stream, the names that you see here, this is I just dragged the same character from one of my folders, so they're all named the same, but they do not all have the same name. In fact, these are.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's just clarifying for this because it says Glissenrock for all of them, but no, they're not all named Glissenrock. They're just random fairy dragons I dragged out here.
Fair enough.
Yep.
He just looks back. He looks back behind him, and he just.
As much as I would like you to right now, don't eat any of them.
And as they're all like starting to fly around, and Ursus looks at you, goes, like looks down and simpers a little bit, and then his ears perk up. He like looks up, and then he looks behind him as there is a little tiny dragon just riding on the back of him. And currently, yeah, it is cute, but it's not like riding him like a rodeo. Because for one, it's facing the wrong direction, and two, it's currently braiding its fur.
It's braiding Ursus's fur?
Yes. This little dragon is like taking it's like slowly but surely on the left side of Ursus's like flank or whatever. It looks like just a slight braid is going on, like cornrows.
Oh.
And Ursa's like trying to get at it somehow. It's like he's just spinning around in circles. As they're giggling all around. And at this point, with all the flitting about, Puck goes up to you, Drogar. It's like, "Oh, sorry about that. I was engaged in such wonderful conversation. Oberon shall see you momentarily. We just need to step into his court.
Very,
And
very
with-
well.
That's it. That's really, he pretty much just stutters at the end of there.
Yep. So at this point, Puck flies up and makes like a motion with his hands, and all of these dragons, including the one that this one like stops braiding for a bit, looks up, and then just leaves up. And at the end of all these cornrows, there's like the teeny tiniest pink ribbon that ties it all up at the very end. So all of these fairy dragons of various colors and types, they like kind of group up, and they're all just looking at each other. And then all the rest of them nod their heads, and they fly off together elsewhere. Let me just... They all fly off ahead, and Puck flies down to Drogar. Quickly, this way. And Puck starts to fly after them, but pauses to make sure that you're able to follow.
And he does. He does see where he went, and he's hustling. He's doing like a light hustle.
Jogs to keep up with him, and I'm assuming everyone else is as well.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, as you were, quickly catching along, you quickly realize that, the group of other fairy dragons are like just up ahead of Puck, and Puck is just up ahead of you, and they're all like darting about in this forest. And as you are starting to go about, you notice the fog that is kind of carefully going over there. As you are walking down, the fog beneath your feet clears because the fog is going off in a different direction entirely. And in the distance, you start to hear something that sounds like, it's kind of weird. It's like a very soft waterfall. It's not like a harsh waterfall with rocks and all that, and you're wondering what's going on. And then you realize what you're seeing is that as you are walking down, you start going down this hill, and it starts going into like a valley, but then there are stairs beneath your feet. Slowly but surely you see that there are hand railings off to the side, except these hand railings are made out of trees. And it's like their branches have been grown purposely in such a way that their branches can be held onto. And it seems kind of weird. Like normally branches, they come out from the trunk and then they grow out to normal things. But these branches on these trees, they grow out from one tree and then it goes into another tree that's like down below. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a link cable with these trees, except they're nice and thick and you can hang on to them. And as you go along, you notice that the fog river of some sort, it actually goes into a fog waterfall. That, the fog slowly drifts down, and at the bottom there is a pool of what looks like really thick milk, but it's, as it goes, oh wait, no, that's just like really thick clouds, and that really soft sound that you're hearing is just clouds being pooled into this area. And as you were going
cool,
forward,
actually.
Yeah, it is very cool. And as you go about, you see, just all sorts of laughter as there are so many dragons that are flying about that just so happen to be the ones that I copied and pasted. I'm not going to do that again and again and again because
Hum is having a bit of
A nervous breakdown.
yeah. All right, because there's a lot of dragons, and there are twinkling firefly lights just everywhere in this area. As you are all crawling down, you see
that's not what's bothering her though. It's the laughter. It's just so many laughing.
They're all soft giggles, and you go down the stairway, and then you enter into a clearing, and this clearing has trees that surround it. There are trees that. As you look up the trees, and the branches are just like way up high in the sky. And then you look down and you notice that the roots of these trees are exposed. And as they curl and kind of create a fence area, there are other trees that are short and stocky, and they kind of look like a chair almost. And as you are all observing this very strange pavilion opening area, it eventually Puck motions like, come, this way, this way. And he is motioning towards an area that it looks like there are vines that are, coming down kind of like a curtain. And
Okay.
yep, and Puck is motioning for you to head that way.
All right. So Joey does.
All right.
Tom's hands are over her ears, right?
now, and she's all she is doing is just looking up, and then she's just blindly following Drogar.
All right. So the rest of you are just blindly following. Corrind as well is, following along, and they are just looking around, utterly amazed at all this that they are seeing.
Yes, I just follow as well.
Okay.
I mean, you're
You don't have
still
to
on.
on Toba.
Yeah, I know.
I assume you're
I'm
still on
on your
shoulders.
shoulders. Okay, yeah, so I'm going wherever he's going.
All right.
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much.
Yep. Toba, you're walking on. So you have that weight on one shoulder. Then all of a sudden you feel like there's another weight that's like slowly going onto another shoulder of yours.
Wait, what the?
As you look over, and there is another fairy dragon. I believe I can copy and paste. Oh, copy, paste, zip, and there is another dragon. I'm going to turn this color from that to... Is there a nice pink color? Oh, sure, let's call that. That's actually purple. It has to do with the dyeing of this. See, like another dragon. It's like a small purple fairy dragon. It's like sitting on you. It's waving at you.
So wait, Toba will fill that other weight. He's like, what the? He sees the other dragon. He's like,
and as you sneeze, the dragon just immediately just flies off, and it's like
that wasn't a sneeze. That was him like getting like
That was a
shot.
yelp.
like
That was a yelp.
that
Like Homer.
like the haunted mansion moment where it looks like there's ghost riding in your cart sort of deal.
Okay, to be fair, above game that never scared me. So
Above game that might have scared me when I went to Disney World once when I was like 9. But nevertheless, so at that point, Puck is leading you out towards this vine and this vine curtain. And the vine curtain, as you approach it, it spreads apart. And within it, you look inside, and it is rows upon rows upon rows of seating. And at the very front of this, it looks like there is a stage. And the stage is darkened almost by what looks like you're trying to figure out, like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is it dark on the stage and yet everywhere else is like pretty light? More like seeing the render art of the giant bee boss from the first Donkey Kong Country. You know what? Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely... Yep. So you go. So it looks like kind of like a theater as you're walking into here. Like you're coming in from the back of a theater and it looks like you're going into one. But it's weird. It's like all the light. So, it's very well lit in this area. But as soon as you look at the stage, it gradually becomes like very dark.
So, hang on. Do I have a torch?
Do you have a torch?
I have a light.
I just realized
I'm
I should
looking
probably
it
be playing something here for ambient noise. Just a lot of talking.
I do have a torch. I shall light it.
All right. So, as you go ahead and do you have anything to light the torch with, like flint or whatever?
I have a.
Hey.
I have a sorcerer who could do it.
All right. Sure.
Yeah.
I have light as a celestial trait.
All right.
Veronan, light the torch.
Tom is going to very discreetly lift her veil a
Just
little
gonna
bit.
look at him and just be like, I'm the light, yo.
So, where
Tom is going to discreetly lift her veil a little bit so that she could take a better look at the stage around her.
you have light as what ability? I'm looking at your character sheet just to try to figure. Oh, radiant. Oh no, that's resistance is to light. That's what that
Wait
means.
a minute.
So what's this about you being light, Veronan? Or are you just light?
As a celestial trait, you can cast light as a what is it?
Cantrip, maybe?
No, it's a racial trait.
All right.
For
Eat some more.
All right.
Yep. It is a cantrip.
Okay, cantrip, racial traits. You know the light
Celestial
cantrip. You can cast Lesser Restoration once per. Okay, so you know the light cantrip. All right. So the light cantrip. Oh boy, I'm gonna need to look this one up. Go gadget player's handbook just to make sure how this works.
I have it right here if you want me to just read it.
Oh, sure. Go ahead and read it off for me.
You touch one object that is no larger than 10 feet in a dimension. Until the spell ends, the object sheds bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet.
Okay.
I can change the color.
Ooh, very nice.
I touched Toba.
So, all right. So Toba.
Toba is a light.
Yep.
Toba, you were the light.
All right. So at this point.
Oh my god, I am glowing. Why am I glowing?
Yep,
You're welcome.
You are starting to glow. I need to look something up for this particular kind of darkness because obviously it's not a regular kind of darkness, right?
Are you saying it's advanced darkness?
This is advanced darkness.
Okay, the player's handbook. Darkness. See light. Really?
What?
That's what it says in the handbook. I'm looking at the index.
Right. Above game, Veron's having fun making Toba the Rave Light. Has these multi-position colors.
oh, you're having fun with that. As you're doing this, like some of the dragons, the fairy dragons that are around, they just like start flying around, and some of them are starting to boogie. Vision and light.
Toba, you're a disco ball. How do you feel?
Note to self: don't ever look into a mirror. I'll probably give myself a seizure.
Is Baggin Raggin dancing on his shoulder?
Magical darkness.
Baggin Raggin actually, above game, Baggin Raggin has left the chat.
Yeah, because he messaged me and IRL stuff has come up, but that's fine. We wish Stormpye well. He'll be back as soon as he's able. So at this point, Baggin Raggin, he's he's looking at you like, what is going on here?
Baggin Raggin has a seizure.
No, he does not. I'm not having one of my characters have epilepsy for a joke. All right, let's not do that.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay. Okay. A creature with dark vision cannot see through this darkness, and non-magical light cannot illuminate it. If the point you choose is an object you're holding. All right, so this is a magical light you have on Toba, right? Technically.
Yes.
I'm sorry. What?
It is a cantrip, so it is magic.
All right. So
what he said.
So it's 10 feet. All right. So Puck is motioning for.
Lasts for 1 hour.
Lasts for an hour. All right. So Puck is motioning for. He's like, come, and Drogar, you hear this as come, fill out the front row for us.
Okay.
All right.
So he just kind of awkwardly just places himself just right up front, just nice and easy, and looks to the others and is like, motions like, come on, guys, like let's just come on.
Hum is going to just by instinct just sit in the back row.
All right. Oh, if any of the spells area of wait. Oh, that's the darkness spell that I'm looking at. I was looking up for magical darkness, which technically is all right. So I'm just double checking. So magical light would override this darkness of a higher level. But all right. So at this point, everyone is filling in a seat in the front row,
except for Hum, who
back row.
Okay, in the back row. So as you are way in the back row down here, let's call that the back row. Everyone else is filling out front row. Ursus will join you, Hum, just sitting in the back row, as well as
Hum kind of jumps a little bit, sees Ursus, and I'm guessing he just plops right down next to her and just maybe places his head on her lap.
Sure, we'll let that happen. Aw, isn't that cute?
Okay.
And then all of a sudden you feel another head on your lap as a fairy dragon is, just on your other side, sitting down next to you and like looking out towards the stage. And You know, it's kind of weird that this fairy dragon is, it looks back at you by like tilting its head back, and looks like it like gives you a smile.
Hum smiles back and carefully and slowly wraps an arm around the little dragon, just maybe holding the hand a little bit.
I mean, it's a
Awkward
tiny,
cuddle.
it is a tiny creature, so it's kind of like a cat. I said it was Jack Russell Terrier size, so that's like cat sized,
Yeah, so
roughly.
even still.
Yep.
Even still.
So yeah, this little dragon that's curled up around you, like as you're leaning up, it takes its hand, wraps it around you, and like brings it in closer.
Aww. Hum giggles softly and just gives it a nice little pet, as well as giving Ursa a scritch on the head with her free hand.
Yep, as all these fairy dragons are just flying around. And Toba, you are glowing about 10 feet. And the light that is glowing from you, I'm going to say that this darkness, magical darkness, is of a higher level. So the light that is emanating from you, when it fades before it ever reaches where the darkness starts. So as you were looking out on stage, you can't see anything that is upon this stage. And
Okay.
Yep. Then all of a sudden, just the lights just like spotlights, and you see that there is a gigantic tree at the top of this. Hang on, I need to look for. Okay, stop the windswept plains. Was it this music that I decided on? If not, it will be. Or I think I actually may have used this for some other stuff, but whatever. We reuse audio here. So, like all the fairy dragons as these spotlights just go starting illuminating what looks like a gigantic tree that's right there in the middle of the stage, and then zing zing zing, like all these fairy dragons are starting to like fly around. They're like, and Hum, the one dragon that is resting on your lap, you feel it as well as hear it giggle a little bit as the spotlights just go ching, 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 illuminating this giant tree. And this gigantic tree, all of a sudden the branches start unfolding in different directions. And slowly but surely, it reveals the form of a man who is sitting at the top of what looks like a massive tree throne. And this music's a little more ominous than I would have wanted, but it's what I've got right now. So,
Okay, because it's really setting a tone right now.
yeah, let me put a pause on that music. Let me, while you guys are being completely enamored by this show, search for tabletop audio, fantasy, new beginning, abandoned with ancient beacon, astral plane. There are this is the fun stuff that I get to do as a DM. Like decide Court of the Count. That's hang on, it says fantasy and horror. Let's not do horror. Scrolling.
Oh, I'm gonna be scared by that. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah, this is all the tabletop audio stuff. Like this is really good stuff here.
I was gonna say boss fight elf was like, no, it's not.
You know what? That's good enough. Add the game. All right. So we're gonna use this music instead. Make sure that loops. Okay. All right. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. So instead, so instead of the weirdly ominous music that I totally didn't intend for this to be, you are hearing a medieval fair. This is medieval fair, so I had to pick something. It sounds like there's a crowd, and of course it's like all these fairy dragons like giggling about, and there's a man that is sitting on top of a giant tree throne, and it's odd. It's from this distance, and you can't really make out all the features, but it looks like his beard and his hair are made out of bark. And he spreads his arms out. It's like, Welcome to the Sealy Court, my friends. And this tree throne, starts growing. And as he is sitting on this throne, he is getting closer to you by sitting on this throne, just all laissez-faire. And that the tree is like growing and growing like rapidly towards you, and the throne is getting closer to you. And you can now notice that this man has a crimson robe on that is dotted with leaves and buttons that are made out of like acorn tops. And his hands, you notice that the beard and stuff like that, oh yeah, so it is made out of bark, but it also looks like his skin like melds into the bark itself. In that his hands, as he outstretches and welcomes you, as he clasps them together in a nice little like steeple position, you see that his arms, like, they go from skin and then it slowly morphs into bark to where his hands look like very small branches. And the robe, as he goes down, he is wearing pants of some sort, of course, underneath his robe, because I'm not that weird of a DM. And he comes closer to you, everyone in the front row, and he stands up, walks about, and you hear like wood creaking as he stands up. He's like, it's awfully stiff for a king like me. Ah, yes. Moonfires, I welcome you to the Sealy Court. Every last one of you, including, as he motions to the back, all of a sudden you feel an intense heat upon you as a spotlight, boom, just instantly right where you are sitting. And Ursus is there as he like darts up a little bit at what this happens. Like the little dragon that's on, sitting in your lap is like clapping his hands together.
Hum jumps and then just covers her. She, in spite of the veil, she shields her eyes with her hand. Just because of how bright the light is, she is not used to the spotlight being on her, despite being a bard.
Oh, come now, there's no need to be shy. He claps his hands, and you notice that the chairs in front of you are shifting to the side. It's splitting like the Red Sea in that one biblical story. And you feel your chair just being like shunted right up to the row. The rest of you that are sitting there, Toba and Drogar, you feel violently shifted to one side. Veronan, Baggin, Raggin, and Corrind shifted to one side as these other three are just brought right up to the front row with you. And Ursus, jumps up, like falls behind you. The little dragon like flies off elsewhere.
Hum is terrified.
Oh, why so anxious, my dear? And Oberon like leans in over towards you. It's like, you remind me of a certain fellow. A good fellow. A bard as well, I believe.
Glad to hear it, sire. She is just outright. She is just clinging onto the arm. I'm assuming the chairs have armrests. She's clinging onto the
they do.
armrests.
Yep, you cling onto the armrest. Like the armrest like clings onto you a little bit because.
Well, she's just outright petrified about all this. She is not used to this.
Oh yeah. All right. Oh, did I not save that information that we? Oh, whatever. I will have to look for it. Double checking some stuff. I swore I saved it. Ah, there it is. Okay. All right, that will be for later on my end. Fun thing about a DM is that I have lore written up. So, Oberon is like, well, welcome to the Sealy Court. I see you've met most of my friends, and you hear this giggling from all around. From all the fairy dragons flying around. This little cyan one is like flooding over towards Oberon. Oberon extends an arm and it lands on it, and he like starts scritching under its chin, and the little cyan dragon like starts tapping its foot rapidly as he does that.
That's so cute.
No, for the purpose that I summoned you here. And he shakes the hand, and the little cyan guy flies off. I believe I am in need of your help, but you are also in need of mine. Perhaps I should help you first, scratch your backs, and then you help scratch mine.
In what way?
Oh,
Drogar's just looking at everybody confused. It's like, what?
Well, I believe you, of all people, should know that I do grant gifts freely for my own will. As you can tell by your wonderful friend Ursus, was it? And at this point, Ursus like perks his ears up. And Oberon leans down and is like, no, taps his, what do you, oh, thigh. No, like, a lap, but you're standing up and you hit it. That is, well, right, it's the thigh. He taps his thigh and it's like,
Yeah.
come here, boy. And Ursus goes, like, runs around to the side of the stage, goes up the stage stairs, runs up to Ursus, and just jumps on Oberon. And Oberon's like, oh, goodness. It's like a Labrador jumping on someone. And Ursus is just licking Oberon. It's like, yes, a good boy, good boy. Yes,
Ursus is a little embarrassed, like, oh, good lord, what are you doing?
Oh, please, I'm not your master anymore. Ursus. Down, sit. And as Oberon is saying sit, Ursus just immediately sits. I guess good. Turn around. And then Ursus, like, does a turn around. Like, as he's sitting, just turns around. Good. Roll over. And Ursus rolls over like a dog would. And
Amazing.
Yep. All right. Now for the most important one. Dance for me. And Ursus stands up on his hind legs and just, just slowly but surely, like, moves his rear legs. It's not much of a dance. It's more like a dog if you hold a treat directly above him standing on his hind legs. And at this point, Oberon, like, motions down. Ursus sits. And Oberon turns to you, Drogar. And it's like, and now you know who trained him to be so obedient. Perhaps I should introduce myself. I am Oberon, although you probably would have figured that out by now. And this is my court, the Sealy Court.
Drogar can't help but, like, clap after seeing that little display. He's gonna remember this for, like, the longest time of his life. This is like a kid at a circus level of, like, amazed.
Right. Of course. Well, return. And as he motions to Ursus, Ursus, like, nods and then runs back down the stairs and, like, sits right next to you, Drogar. Or rather, like, right behind you, because there's only so much space I made here.
He just pets him on the way over as he sits behind him, and then he just focuses his attention on Oberon, and he gets rid of the whole giddiness of his voice. He goes,
Yes, Oberon, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for giving me this wonderful gift.
Oh, of course, a gift. Still, I believe you all need my help, and it was mostly... And he takes a hand and he leans way far over than what's supposed... You know that one music video Michael Jackson did, I think it's like Smooth Criminal, where he leans way forward? Imagine if it was way backwards instead. And Oberon, like, leans way backwards from where it's supposed to be. Motions over towards you, Toba. I believe you needed to be somewhere very soon, right? But, and he motions to all of you, like, instantly, like, rigid standing up. You all need to be somewhere within a week or so, yes? And yet...
Yeah, that's correct. Toba's a little nervous.
Yep. And yet, and at this point, he reaches up in the sky, and a tree branch, like, falls straight down into his hands. And he looks at it, it's like, I do believe that you are going to be a few days shy of being able to commit to both at the same time, right?
I suppose so. Sure.
Well, then he takes the branch, and then he bends it a little bit. And as he bends it, it's like... You notice that the stage, like, somewhere in the back of the stage, another tree is, like, starting to bend a little bit. And at this point, Oberon is like taking this branch, bending it into a gate, and it's kind of like shaking in his hands. And you see the tree in the background. It's starting to lean over. It's starting to do some weird stuff. It's starting to sound like I should play the other music instead. And as he's, come on, don't you break on me. And he's bending this branch. It's almost a complete circle. And the tree that is in the background of this stage is starting to crack and whine a little bit. And eventually Oberon is like, one moment, there! And he's holding this branch, and he grasps it firmly, and there is a glow in his hand, just a bright flash immediately afterwards. He opens it up, and it's like, this would be a way to a cliffside facing the rising sun, was it? And it should be. And he tosses this ring into the background like a frisbee. And this tree branch that you see in the background, as you were all looking forward, you see this frisbee-like tree fly into this tree branch that is now arched all the way down, and it looks like a perfect arched doorway. And as the frisbee flies into it, poosh, a flash, and when they shield your eyes a bit and you look back, and there is now a doorway standing, a nice door, just what looks like French doors, standing there in the middle of the stage. From where this tree branch leaned over, it's like backstage somewhere. Yeah, it's gonna be loopy hours, can't you tell? But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Oberon motions towards the door and motions towards you, Toba. I believe you'll want to use that door pretty soon.
So he looks over to it and looks over back to him, and he silently nods, gets up, and gestures Ursus to follow, and they just kind of wave a little bit back to him, and they go through without a question.
Okay, so you are.
Calls out.
Hold up. So right now you are at the front row of a stage. And the stage is going to be a little bit above you. So if you're going to be walking up there, you can't just immediately go to the door that's like just backstage a little bit.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So at this point, as you are standing up and start to motion towards the door, Oberon, you start walking up there. The rest of you see Oberon not even run, but it looks like he just like moves up. Whoa, wait, I can do that? Oh, goodness. That's cursed.
Oh my!
Oh my god, that is.
You know what?
No!
I think this will be funnier. So as he's standing, there, as Drogar's, you just see him like twist and warp, right in front of the stage, in front of you, Drogar. As you're walking up, it's like you look up, and all of a sudden, this weird old tree dude who is in the center of the stage is now like right in front of you. He's holding his hand up. It's like, I meant the Loxodon. Technically, you're more than welcome to follow if you need.
Right.
The entire time he looks over at Toba like, okay, try to help me out here. I look like an idiot.
Toba gets up, looks at the door, looks over to the rest of you, just shrugs and starts making his way.
One thing. Veronan speaks up.
Wait, what?
Veronan speaks up.
He takes one step before he goes to take a step and almost trips as Veronan says something.
Veronan looks at Oberon.
Oberon looks at you.
What would you have us do in return for this?
And Oberon? No. You are very inquisitive, aren't you? And he walks over this way. Yep, he's going to walk over towards you. And then from the stage, he is going to walk down from the stage. And there are, as he's walking down, vines appear. It looks like he's about to walk off the stage, but vines appear, rapidly growing into a step. As he's walking down, another pair of vines, slowly, one by one, vines appear. And he walks down, and now he is on the ground. The vines, slither back to beneath the stage. And he's walking in front of you, Veronan. He's like, you always were the smartest person at Fellsworn Academy, weren't you? And of course, a
That's
bright...
the right questions.
You do. That's how you survive, right? So, what would I have you do in return? You are well aware of the flower situation with the death bells that I so graciously granted Ward. I do thank you
And
all.
Veronan kind of nods.
Yep. So I do thank you for helping with that tree problem. That was a root cause of that. Even if someone wasn't supposed to do that, as he's yelling, you see a particularly orange fairy dragon stop flying and slowly back away and towards the stage.
By the way, when he says root cause, Toba just face palms.
Yeah. Indeed. But Oberon is like, well, you need to help me because that one tree, even though it certainly was, stopping a vast problem with Shadowfell, somehow the two are linked. However, I cannot seem to find why they would be linked. It seems like there's a disease of some sort within that one tree. But, no, that source was for Wardbloom. But I'm very much attuned to the Feywild out here. And it seems like while that tree was certainly a root pain cause of some sort, there appears to be something else. What I need you to do is find that out. And I believe your next job may have something to do with that.
Why are you wanting to see Drogar specifically?
And at this point, he walks over to you. Oh, you mean the Dragonborn fellow? Well, there's a... Yep, let me just check the map real quick. Yes, I believe I said Merkeith was the place that you were from, Drogar? That was the lore we decided on?
Yes.
Okay, Merkeith. All right. So, Oberon looks over to Drogar, and he looks over to you. Well, wait, did I just draw a little mustache on there, dude? I didn't mean to do that. Oh, there we go. That was me. That was me trying to click on Oberon with the paint button. It doesn't let you do that.
Oh god.
So it was it was half a mustache away from being Hitler. I didn't want that to happen.
Fair enough.
Yep. So he is not an evil person, I will say that. A little eccentric, but not evil. And Oberon walks over to you, and he goes, there aren't many people from Merkeith that have experienced tragedy, experienced hardships, and still persevere. But of course, in order to reach the greatest heights, one does not do it alone. They need help from those who are benefactors of some sort.
Hum just looks over to Drogar and then back at Oberon, just still very confused.
I'm going to do a quick roll. Not with 11, he's not. So, at this point, Oberon is like, the thing there's a special thing about Merkeith that may also be, one job at a time, of course. Your job, for me, will be to find a connection between what is going wrong with the Feywild, namely that tree. Because, after all, you took care of the tree. That was the major problem of what was happening in Wardbloom. Somehow that tree and those plants were connected. Things in the Feywild here do have a connection to the real world at times. It's not always one for one. But the last thing we need is any magical disease coming from the Feywild and entering into the real world. That would be most disastrous. But that tree was only the source. Why did it do that? Because I've known this place for, how many centuries? Millennia? Eons? He's scratching his head, trying to figure out. It's like, I've been here a long time. And as king of Sealy Court, I know every leaf, every branch, every drop of water, every wisp of a cloud that is within my domain. Something happened with that tree that was just outside of it. And I don't like that. Now, I can't really exit this place after all. It would fall apart without me. But I suspect on your next job with Baggin, you may find connections.
It makes me wonder if maybe part of this involves some sort of outside interference. I wonder.
Indeed. And at this point, as you were saying this, like, he's walking over towards you. But first, I do believe you need to be elsewhere, Toba. Very soon, if I do believe.
I do.
Right this way. And as this way, he like leads you over, and he's starting to walk up these steps, and the vines are also doing their thing. But Toba, you feel underneath your feet like the ground shifting and shaking, as
whoa.
Yeah, as you yourself are being lifted up by vines and whatever. And as Oberon is making the steps, the vines, they don't disappear. They instead raise, and you are now on a platform that is on the same plane as the stage itself. And as you're doing this, like, vines are then, you see vines from the corner of your eyes, like, start rapidly growing, and they become a walkway of some sort, like 2 handrails leading directly to the door.
Before he goes through, he takes one more look at the party to see what they do.
You gotta be kidding me.
Well, I think Drogar would definitely follow if given that chance.
Oh, come on. There.
He just kind of silently nods, though, just so that you know what he's doing.
Right quick, could I do an insight if this is intended for me to go alone, or...
You can go ahead and give for me an insight check then.
Alright.
A 6.
6 probably is not going to tell me much.
Feywild is weird as boop, dude.
He ain't wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
Yep, and people who are watching the recording are knowing where this is going off because I forgot to set this up earlier somehow. But fortunately, I kept images. So, you are approaching the door?
Well, before I do, I was hoping to show you guys the ceremony of this, of what I need to do, but...
Oh, you're more than welcome to follow him if you so wish.
Oh, okay, never mind.
As he
I was
motions...
about to say, but it looks like you're implying I need to do this alone.
He looks towards you. It's like, well, this is your task, but of course, the others may help. Although I'm not sure he points to Ursus. I don't think the bear is going to be much help. He points over towards Corrind and Baggin, and I believe those two, I'm not sure how much magic the door will have. He's, counting on his hands, like, it might be better if those two just stay here for the moment. No harm will befall them, trust me. As Baggin is, like, looking around, it's like, man, this is weird. But, Corrind is probably looking around like, they've seen some weird stuff, but they're handling it pretty well. Baggin is probably just panicking at this point, right?
Who knows?
All right.
Toba will look towards Veronan and Hum.
Hum stands up.
Okay. You're going to go through the door?
Stands up with her.
All right, so we have, most of course, 4 adventurers of the Moonfires going through the door. You two over there, on the other hand, he points to Corrind and Baggin. Perhaps some tea would be nice. And he claps his hands, and from there, vines start growing in front of them. Not wrapping around them, just like in front of them. And a flower blooms on top of these vines, and it solidifies into a cup shape. And there's like a little branch that grows around it to make like the handle. And then like you hear this what sounds like water coming from the ceiling and just crashes right inside both of the cups. And its water is steaming already. And at this point, Corrind looks at Baggin, and Baggin looks at Corrind. They slowly reach over, and Oberon like walks over to them, and a vine comes up with some tea. He grabs the cup before the water hits, and expertly in front of him, the water. Well, why is no? The dragons are doing all. Dragons. I got too many dragons on screen, man. So Oberon takes his cup, and he expertly like lifts it up in the air, swings it around as a random stream of water is just spread around, but he catches every drop in it, takes a whiff. Ah, yes, chamomile, my personal favorite. Drink up, my friends. Takes a sip. Baggin, Raggin, Corrind, they look weird, but they take a sip. Baggin, Raggin's like, oh, this is a good tea. And Corrind's like, that's pretty good tea. So Oberon motions back. Do hurry back from your little excursion.
Of course. Toba will look down at his focus and look at the door, and says mostly to himself, "First thing to do, I have a bug to catch." And he hoists the shield on his back and walks through the door.
All right. As you open the door, it is one that you pull open, and you open it, and you are just instantly hit with a cold breeze, just. And as you stand there, and you look outside, and you gasp, you are looking out the peak of Mount Zareen.
Toba takes a deep breath and sighs and says to himself, "Let's get to work."
Okay. So what all did you need for this little ceremony?
So I have the jar, I have the blade pin, I have the leather, and I have the bone, with the ox bone.
Mm-hmm.
I need a insect the size of the one in my focus, preferably another hornet, and I need sap from a tree. That's what the jar's for.
Okay, sap from a tree. All right.
And another hornet.
And another hornet. All right. So, as you walk out, we're going to warp back to the Feywild. Toba has walked through the door. The rest of you who've seen like this light, even though the stage is fairly well lit with like the spotlights, you see like there's another light and it looks like a breeze coming through. And Toba walks through that door. What do the rest of you do?
Hum climbs up. Hum sets the basket onto the stage before climbing up and following him.
Okay. And as you go through the door, Oberon is like, "Oh, yes, of course, I almost forgot your friend needs some things." And he is going to take his hands, snap his fingers, and hum. The vines that are next to you, the railways, they like shudder and shift, and at two sections, it breaks apart. One of them is forming what looks like a very tightly weaved orb of some sort, and it is gesturing like right in front of you what it is, and the other one is slowly growing out the door into the doorway itself.
Hum goes over to the tight orb and inspects it a little bit.
All right, you inspect it a little bit, and it looks like you can just take it from this vine itself, but you also notice that you hear like a buzzing sound from inside of it.
That's worrying. Hum debates a bit. She takes out the leather scrap and picks it up with the leather scrap because she suspects that there is a giant bug in there, and she does not want to have her bare hand over it. She's kind of irked
Fair
out
enough.
by it.
All right. You take this, and Veronan, Drogar, what do you do?
Veronan's going to head into the door.
All right. Veronan, you are following in behind Hum, who has taken this orb. The vine that was part of that rejoins the railing, as it were. And Veronan, you follow along. You notice that one of the branches is now going out the door. Both of you exit the door. Drogar. Ursus, by the way, is going to be over by, Corn and Bag and Raggin, just looking at the tea.
He just he was gonna say goodbye to Ursus, but he sees that he's a little preoccupied at the moment, so he just chuckles and shakes his head and follows Veronan and Hum from behind into the door.
All right, so we are going to make some room over here, and to the top of Mount Serene we go. We can stop at the scary music. We can go right to the mountain pass music. Toba, the time of day. As you were looking out, I forgot to mention this is very early in the morning. You see that there is a sliver of light in the horizon, but it's still just bright enough to realize, we're at the top of a mountain facing the rising sun right now on the cliffside of Mount Serene. And you feel a tap on your shoulder.
What?
You look over and there's a vine that's just right there. As you look behind you, you see that it is the vine is coming through, and you see your friends Hum, Veronan, and Drogar following it like a banister. And what do we got here? You can show this off as I forward it. Okay. I'm not sure that I can actually show that off while streaming. I'd have to download it and do some crazy stuff, but we can fix that in post, probably.
That's fine.
All right. So at this point, this vine is, you notice it, and the vine is starting to leak a little bit.
Oh, wait, there's something in the vine? I'm sorry?
Yeah, the vine is slowly dripping, and the dripping is getting a little faster now.
I inspect the vine to see what exactly is dripping from it.
So you said you needed sap, right?
Tree sap, yes.
Tree sap, yeah. Weirdly enough, you take a look at this, and you take your finger, it's drip, drip. It's sticky, it feels like sap. You go to sniff it, it smells like maple syrup for some reason. That's weird. But, hey, sap, am I right?
Right. Should I just do a survival check to make absolutely sure this is it?
Go ahead and make a survival check.
15.
Yeah, it's Feywild tree sap. You're not entirely sure how a vine gets tree sap, but the Feywild is weird as boop, man.
Cutting corners a little bit, but desperate time. We're on a tight schedule, so whatever. He pulls out the jar and he fills it. When he fills it to almost the brim.
Yep. As you pull this thing out, that vine goes from a drip to just and fills that thing up real quick. It's you almost lose your grip on the jar itself, but it fills up all the way up to the brim, stops, and the vine shakes a little bit, wipes itself off a little bit at the brim of your jar, and then just warps all the way back inside. And Veronan, Hum, Drogar, you see a vine whip towards you as you are past the door, and the door then closes behind you. Clunk.
Oh. How exactly
are we gonna get back?
The door is closed, but you did not hear anything lock.
I think we'll be able to go back in. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it lock.
I guess. And
she.
She's
going
to go over to Toba and carefully hand over the very tight ball with the leather scrap on it.
All right.
I think this is something that you're going to need.
Thank you. Toba will pick it up and remove the leather strap to see what it is.
As you remove the leather strap, you begin moving one of the leaves, and a gigantic hornet just crawls on top of your hand. This is like...
Whoa!
Yeah, whoa. This is like the biggest hornet you could possibly get. And it looks at you, it's like... You can feel it buzzing. And as you are holding the jar, does the insect need to go inside the jar by any chance?
Actually, he does.
All right, so the insect...
if you don't mind, I actually kind of had this planned out a little bit.
Oh, go for it, go for it.
All right. So while he's on the hand, Toba is going to very slowly hand the jar over to Veronan. And he quietly says, hold on to this. Do not make any sudden movements.
And Veronan just nods.
He's going to slowly reach behind his back and pull out the belaying pin. And if I have to roll an attack, or if I need to do anything, he is going to basically bop the hornet on the head.
All right, go ahead and roll an attack for me.
And I actually have the belaying pin in my actions.
Okay, go ahead, roll an attack.
Or do... Hold on, let me double check, make sure I do. Let me go ahead and just do that. There we go. Actions, and let's give it a bat.
All right, an 18, 4 damage. This is an insect. It doesn't have a lot of hit points. You kill that thing in one fell swoop.
He doesn't just light enough to where it doesn't like destroy or destroy the bug, but it just
yeah, enough to make it stop, right? So
yeah, it pretty much stuns it.
Yeah, all right, yeah, with 4 points of bloodshed, yeah, it will basically be totally done for.
And Toba will say in Starakian, which, by the way, anybody who's listening or be listening to the stream, watching the stream, basically, if you played Star Fox Adventures, just pretty much the language that the Saurians speak, just go with that. Yes, I planned that. Anyway, he says a little prayer to the hornet. He basically says, "We thank you for your sacrifice. You will serve us well." Veronan, do me a favor and open the jar.
And he will open the jar lid.
All right, and the Toba will hold the hornet up to the sun, and slowly place him inside the jar, and then take the jar from Veronan. Thank you. And is it sun? I forgot. Is it sunrise right now?
It is just beginning to rise up. You start seeing the curvature of the sun starting to rise. The land is starting to get a little brighter.
Do I notice? Is there any branch or bark or anything where I can set up a fire?
You look about, and this area that the door is open into is kind of like a little cave, but it also leads out to a cliff edge. And as you look about, you go ahead and give for me a survival check to see if there is anything out here you can burn.
All right.
Let's see if Oberon was like really... How much of a Deus Ex Machina do I want to make Oberon? A 9 survival?
9.
I mean, you look about, and it looks like there may have been signs of a campfire here, but what wood there is kind of burnt a little bit.
Is there anything flammable?
Well, it depends. What do you have in your inventory?
What do I have? Inventory, common clothes, Druid focus, rope and silk, bedroll, mess kit, rations, rope, tinder. Oh, I got a tinderbox. Never mind.
Yeah, you got a tinderbox, so you have something to start a fire with.
All right. You know what? I'm going to do something incredibly crazy. I'm going to say that the ceremony requires a great sacrifice. And Toba is going to sacrifice his shield to the fire, which is basically just a ship's helm.
All right. So the rest of you witness Toba like looking about frantically for something, and then he looks at his shield. He stops. He thinks. He nods. He takes off the shield. He places it on the ground, and he starts to light it on fire.
Toba.
It's all right. It'll be fine. We must sacrifice something in order to become stronger. So
if you're sure, Toba,
it'll be fine. So as I'll start the fire, and Toba will go into as the fire starts roaring, and Toba waits for the sun to basically peak on the horizon.
Yep.
Toba will go into Seiza, which is for those who don't know, it's basically sitting on your knees. You're kneeling more or less like a samurai, more or less. He goes into Seiza and closes his eyes and takes a deep breath until he can feel the sun peeking from the horizon.
It only takes a few minutes before the sun gets to be a bright enough point where your eyes start to squint as you are facing it. And you feel like, with, the fire from the shield crackling and burning, you feel like this is it. This is the moment. Let's get it done.
Right. Let me look something up, like, super quick. I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. I had something, like, figured out, and it was on my computer. I did not expect I'd be here tonight, and this would come to it.
We can always just improv. We can always just improv.
Someone will have to help me out. Improv is one of my weakest links.
Good news, your DM has done improv before in college. So, what do we need?
I was trying to basically look up an Aztec poem for him to basically chant while he does the ceremony.
All right. So, you as you were
for those who are aware, I may play like a druid, but I'm playing Toba much more like a shaman from Warcraft, more or less. Anyway.
All right. So, as you were coming to terms of like, what was the words? And your mind, as you were focusing, the words slowly come to mind. And this is weird because you think you know what the meaning of the word is, but they are words that you have never heard before. Urak Shora Mora V. Urak Shora Mora V.
Urak Shora Mora V.
All right.
Urak Shora Mora V.
The rest of you are hearing this weird mantra coming from Toba as he is currently kneeling in front of a fire that he lit from his shield with a bug in a jar full of presumably syrup from sap from a vine, which is kind of a tree in the Feywild, I guess.
As he's doing this, the first thing he does, he pulls out the belaying pin, holds it up to the sun, and casts it into the fire.
And as soon as you do that, whoosh, like the flames are the flames just like get very large and wide and spread about in ways that fire should not normally do. Drogar, Veronan, you swear you see the shape of what looks like to be a giant lizard standing on two legs. And it looks like it roars but it's for the briefest of moments before the fire just becomes a larger fire from the shield.
I'm definitely back.
I'm sorry, what's up?
Hum steps back in shock. That's about it.
Toba will then take up the jar with the sap of the hornet.
Mm-hmm.
Raise it up. Say the chant a few more times. and then with all of his might just slams the jar with everything into the fire, and then raises his arms upward, with his fingers pointed towards the fire. As this happens, the focus around his neck begins to glow.
It starts to glow, and the rest of you start noticing as soon as the jar hits the fire, you would think that it would put it out, but instead it turns into a different color entirely. As he slams it down there, instead of being a orange color like a fire normally would, now it starts being a cyan green color as the smoke starts getting a little acrid around here. And the smoke, you swear, it's like, wait, no, that can't be possible. It looked like the shape of some of the dinosaurs that Toba turns into, because you get to see there's other shapes that are very strange and weird. It looks like there's one that looks like another terrible lizard, but its back is covered with ridges, and it ends with a tail that almost looks like Toba's tail. That's weird, but in an instant that's gone. And then the smoke starts getting in here. This little cave is starting to get a little hard to breathe in.
And then, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, feeling that this is a very important spiritual moment, she just sets the basket down, takes out her drum, and starts drumming quietly, like sort of as a heartbeat sort of thing, just to sort of help attune to it with him.
Boom, 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 boom.
And then as he goes, you can just picture in your head that he's saying a poem in Saria that basically explains like the sacrifice and the rise from the ashes, and the strength. Anyway, calling for the strength of the warrior, and for the basically for the victory of him and his allies. And as he does, his hands begin to basically wave as the fire goes, and the flame actually begins to actually move with his hands, until finally, when he ends the poem, his hands slap together, and then as if parting, funny enough, the Red Sea, his hands part the flame away as the flames disperse,
whoosh,
and reveals the weapon.
Yes.
Toba, wait. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so as you spread your hands apart, the smoke whoosh, like goes way out into the distance, and the smoke like starts to filter out the sun a little bit, but then it starts peeking in, and as the air starts to clear, the morning sun is starting to rise, and the fire is out, and Drogar, Veronan. No longer is there just a gigantic mess that is sitting in front of Toba. Well, I mean, technically there's ash and all that, but instead, you see before you. Is this? Oh, hang on. Hang on. I was gonna show this off on stream, but let me just check. Okay, it should be there. Why isn't it working the way it's supposed to be working? Properties. Oh, don't I just love OBS? Let me see. Transform. Fit to screen? That does not help me at all. Nope. All right. OBS is just being a butt. Good to know. Let me just remove that.
All right.
All right. So let me add another image source. Not image source.
As he's figuring that out, I'll just go ahead and I'll point to Drogar. There is a femur of an ox in my bag.
There we are.
Please grab it. Please grab it for me.
Silently, he nods and goes to grab the item he wants, finds it, and then passes it along to him.
All right.
As he does that, it's not showing up for us, but it's going to be showing on the stream right now.
It is on the stream right now. The head of that is lying in the fire.
Toba will pick up the club and slowly take the leather strap that he bought and wraps it around.
Yep,
he wraps it around where he would grip it. He would then take the femur, the ox femur and place it on 2 rocks to basically hold it in place. Toba will then take the club up to where the sun rises, and with all his might, will take the club and strike the femur.
All right, go ahead and roll an attack for me with that femur. Not with a femur, with that club.
Alrighty. 1 sec. Please, no natural ones. Not right now. Let everything's so cool.
7. All
7.
right. So, 4 points of bludgeoning damage. I'm going to check something with... let's see. Funny thing about a DM screen, it'll tell me things like how tough they are with AC, if I can just find. Cloth, paper, wooden, bone, oof. So with bone, you go to strike this particular thing, and it just boom, bounces off. Like, this ox femur is a little tougher, or maybe you're just not used to this weapon yet. So
I will do it one more time, but as I go to strike again, I cast a cantrip.
Ooh, what cantrip you casting?
I'm going to cast Shillelagh.
All right, Shillelagh. 11.
11.
All right, so that is a touch. Double checking what Shillelagh does. Spells, Shillelagh. The wood of a club or quarterstaff you're holding is imbued with nature's power. For the duration, you can use your spell casting ability instead of strength for the attack and damage rolls of melee using that weapon. And the weapon's damage die becomes a D8. All right, so wood of a club holding imbued with nature. So for 1 minute, you can use your spell casting ability instead of strength for the attack and damage rolls of melee attacks. So hope you can figure that out.
So I will strike again.
All right. And
so that basically means
so it should be a use your spellcasting ability instead of your strength. So your strength's at 0, but your spellcasting ability is, I'm looking at where it's supposed to be. It is, where is it? Spell attack would be spellcasting ability. I think it's a +5 from the looks of it. A spellcasting ability, or like a modifier of +3. That's probably it. So a D20 plus a 3.
Okay, so
at least from what I am able to determine, this is gonna be one of those things where I'll have to like look this up later. And the weapon's damage die becomes a D8. Weapon also becomes magical if it isn't already. Strength for the attack and damage rolls. Yeah, so it should be 1d20 plus your spellcasting ability, which might be like a So it says hit plus DC, so it's gonna be a +5 to your roll, which I think is kind of what you did. So yeah, might have been an 11. Yeah, rolling 1d20 plus 5, so you rolled a 6 plus a 5. That's what it says there. So yeah, you rolled an 11 on the attack and 11 for the bludgeoning. And because I don't want to ruin this moment, I'm just going to let that pass.
Okay.
Okay. So at this point...
This entire time, by the way, Hum is still drumming.
Yep. At this point, the heartbeat drum. Toba, that first swing you did was like, oh, man, I don't know if this is going to be good enough. But you hear that, you swear like your heartbeat is in sync with Hum's drumming. You take that... and you cleave that ox bone in one fell strike. It just snaps. That femur, half that femur like flies up in the air. The other one like flies and tumbles towards the edge of the cliff. And you look at the 2 points, and it's like a very clean break through a femur of an ox, which is very impressive.
It is indeed. Toba will basically turn back to the sun, hold the club in both hands, take a deep breath, and says the ceremony is complete. He takes the club, rests it on his forehead. You will bear the name of the first Archdruid of Sterachio. Armadon. Puts it on his forehead one more time. Then quickly flourishes it. And as if like a 6-shooter, like a quick draw man just spinning his pistol and putting it in the holster. Just spins it and just slaps it on the right side of his belt. And looks back to the party.
All right.
What's everyone's reaction?
So
Hama is quieting down the drumming until she stops and then just puts it away. Well done, Toba. You did well. I don't know what you were doing, but you did very well.
Drogar?
I don't understand the customs quite, but that was wonderful to see. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Veronan. Oh, sorry, I thought you were done.
It's okay. He was just gonna. He was.
I feel honored to have been part of this. Thank you for letting me go with you.
Toba nods. Looks to Veronan.
Congratulations. I'm glad you were able to complete the ceremony. I too am honored to be a part of it.
And it brings great pride in my heart that you guys were here with me for this. I'd have it no other way. But we fulfilled our end. And he has fulfilled our end of the bargain. This Oberon. Now it's time for us to return to fulfill our end. Come, let us return.
And with
nods and follows.
all right, and with that, you all go. Turn to the door. The handle's there. You go to open it. It opens with ease. And we are going to end our session there tonight with Toba with a brand new weapon and has come into a deal with Oberon, to which Oberon has fulfilled his end of the bargain, as it would be. But we shall see what the other end of the bargain will entail. All right, and with that, I am Master Wabbit. I am the Dungeon Master of this session. You can find me on Twitch, so Twitch TV/Master Wabbit. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/@MasterWabbit, and the Riding Corpse of Twitter @MasterWabbit, but also Blue Sky @masterwabbit.bsky.social, I believe it is. So, let's go down the list of everybody. We have Discord minimized on the PC. Why did I do that? All right. Kiki, where can they find you?
You can find me on TikTok and on Tumblr as Clueless Larspawn.
All right. RetroKaiju.
You can find me on such wonderful places as the Rotting Corpse of Twitter @It'sRetroKaiju, as well as Space Hay under the same name. I also have a Blue Sky. You can find me with Retro Planet over there. And you can also follow us on YouTube, where all of us make videos like this for you, the viewer. And you can also visit us over at the Discord, the Retro Planet public server. We will have a link for you. Please come visit. We would love to have you over.
All right. Rikkaku.
You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Rikkaku the Sai-Krowe with underscores underneath each name. The stream will be back next time on that channel, as it normally is. I forgot to also plug my account on the Rotting Corpse of Twitter, which you can find that @Roadrunner Moose. I am not on Blue Sky, though I really need to fix that. And I am also on Space Hay, also @Roadrunner Moose. And I am also an editor for the Retro Planet. So, as previously mentioned, youtube.com/@It'sRetroPlanet.
All right. JayBrilliant.
Hi everyone, you can find me over at the Rotting Corpse Twitter @JayBrilliant, on Twitch as JayBrilliant, and TikTok @JayBrilliant.
All right. And Stormpye had to drop out of the session a little early. That's fine. And with that, it's going to be the end of our episode. Never forget, the Retro Planet has got your back. I hope I got that correct, but the way I end things off for my recordings and all
That
that.
works.
Yep. Until next time, everybody, take care.